Hello everyone, welcome back to Marvel Mania. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And this is CJ.
Hello. How are we doing tonight, everybody?
CJ is a friend of Eric's from work, and we invited him to watch and chat with us on Avengers. Finally, we are to the Avengers. We're all the way to 2012 now.
CJ's been hinted at in some of these.
Oh, man.
Where I will refer to things as, my buddy from work said this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got a couple of those I wasn't even sure that you were talking about, CJ.
Yeah, because another one I also referenced.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope that everybody goes back and tries to see all the parts where I'm included, but not really, because I mean, I have no idea how often that could have happened. But I'm excited about Avengers. I absolutely love this movie. It's probably the only superhero movie in a good while that has gotten me to tear up. So,
oh, wow.
I also teared up.
Yep. A little bit.
I did too, but probably not at a place where anyone else
But I
did.
didn't. I teared up on my second viewing.
No, first view. Right there in the theater.
You know where it was for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I know exactly where it was.
Right at the very end.
Yeah.
But what part?
Because I love me some Thanos.
Oh my gosh, okay. Alright, that's fair.
It was a big deal.
That's fine.
Anyway.
That's a great shot.
So, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So if you want to watch this with us, make sure to grab your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it, get it straight to timestamp 0 past all the menus, and get ready to press play. When I say now, here we go, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully everyone can see us this time, because we turned off the lights again, but I think we're lit better.
But, well, we do have a light this time, which we did not last time.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, everybody please press play right now!
Sorry, I got so excited. It's right there. It's so satisfying every time.
This is a movie that, I'm sure I said this last time, but this is a movie that I can't think critically about. Like, I'm pretty sure the middle act is really flawed, but I can't think about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I always understood a lot of the issues that people had with this movie, but none of them destroyed it for me, and I always thought that there was a lot of really smart character and thematic stuff that, that with respect, folks maybe just weren't picking up on because they weren't liking the ultra comic book nature. And some of the typical, admittedly, initial team-up stuff.
The Thor, Captain America, Iron Man fight.
That's the big one. And yeah, it doesn't work. I will certainly agree with that, but it doesn't drag the whole movie down. And I never understood the folks that said this movie isn't about anything.
So this is Alexis Denisof, right?
Yes.
That's his voice?
Yeah.
I can't hear it and I can't see it.
I can't see him in it at all.
Did they just alter it? Or, like, is it...
I'm sure it's altered.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's
but he's also in the
digital
costume.
enhancement there.
And I can't see him. I mean, it's prosthetics, but you can see through prosthetics sometimes. Yeah. You can see Ron Perlman in Hellboy.
And it's really easy to say it could have been anybody, but maybe only he would have given you specifically that voice.
So we know...
Digitally enhanced.
We know when you cried. When did you cry, CJ?
We'll just wait for the scene, you know? We'll just see it happen again.
That's fine.
And no, it's cool.
We'll see if we can recreate it, even. maybe I can get one out. What is up, Samuel L. Jackson? Such a handsome fellow.
I think he looks kind of pudgy in this movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I think older, but not...
He doesn't... He shapes up later, especially in Winter Soldier. But in this, when he runs out with a rocket launcher, like, I distinctly had this feeling of, that's the most we can get from you in this film. Like, I don't know if you can physically do more than that.
Yeah, he rocks in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a whole fight scene inside of a car.
Poor Clark Gregg.
Yeah, which is one of the most intense scenes in all of the superhero.
It's a real bummer that Clark Gregg dies in this movie, and then, like, we never do anything with him ever again.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate.
It's real sad. He really had presence, and I feel like we could have done more with that character, but you know, if it was his time to die.
Yeah, and I don't usually advocate for bringing characters back, but I think it could have been done in an interesting way.
He's the only
You know?
resound character in the Marvel Cinematic that has actually stayed dead, though.
Yeah, that's true.
As
That's
far
true.
as the cinematic goes, there's never been.
I thought we were just gonna keep this going.
No, I'm
He's
happy
one of the
that he's
few
gone. I'm
that has
it's
stayed
unfortunate.
dead.
It's super unfortunate. I would have loved to have him longer, but I give him ups. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one thing, way to go. You gotta keep going even after you're gone, and that's fine. But the cinematic, he's stayed
Even
gone.
if you're dull.
And that is the thing Whedon talks about with Age of Ultron, is that as far as that movie is concerned, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Refuses to
Well,
bring
and you
back.
can tell that the movies don't seem to know that he's still around. And I
Or
mean,
care.
the show. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the show tries to make that work. In, you know, keeping him a secret, but especially once S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone and then kind of comes back, it's real hard to believe that none of these people know that he's around.
The Tesseract is housed in another arc reactor.
Oh yeah,
I just keep pointing out things
you
that look
always
like arc
notice
reactors.
that, and I never think about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is an arc reactor, isn't it? Of course.
I don't actually know if any of these things are, but they all look just like arc reactors.
Very
They
valid.
keep showing up throughout the Marvel Cinematic
Like, it would be
Universe.
hard to get Tony to sign a check and send over some tech.
Well, he doesn't know
Well,
what this is
I
here.
feel like it would be. I don't.
Although maybe he doesn't know what it's for.
He's not intimately involved right now with S.H.I.E.L.D. and was
Apologies. Like, Tony couldn't be
kicked out of the
tricked.
program before the program happened. Was that?
Like, Tony couldn't be tricked into signing a check or sending
Yeah, like,
over
we need
some
this
tech.
thing for something. Alright, well.
Whatever, Pepper's handling it.
Yeah.
And Pepper loves Clark Gregg. I don't know why he used stage name versus character name.
Yeah. It's
But-
fine.
Well, maybe we can just blame everything that happens from this moment on
Tony Stark?
that being Hammer Tag. It's
Oh.
a Hammer arc reactor.
And that's why Loki was able to get in.
Yeah.
Come
Yes.
back, Sam Rockwell.
That's what happened.
He comes back for like a second in All Hail the King.
I want more than
It's
that.
great and all. Yeah, I know.
But I want it more, sir.
I hear people talk about this opening being really weak, and I
No.
remember feeling like that in the theater, where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this movie's gonna work.
You know, I actually kind of had that a little bit as well.
Oh, there's one scene.
But some of it was just the confusion of, wait, this isn't how we set this up in
That's
the after
true.
credit scene
In Thor.
In Thor. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh man, there's one scene that's about to happen in 1 second where Loki jumps across and he's just that right there. I love that. I love that so much.
Oh, I thought you were gonna make fun of it because it was close.
No.
And it
I love
doesn't
the way
even
it
look like a
looks.
stunt. I thought that,
No, it looks like a comic book.
I feel
Yeah.
I feel like if you stopped that and colorized it, it would look exactly like a comic book. And
He's got long hair now. His
Rings so-
time
that's
in
one of
the-
those
in
big,
the-
thin horizontal panels at the bottom of a page.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got longer hair now. He's grown his hair out in space. And now
One of the
Hawkeye's
first
out
lines in the movie. You have heart. Heart's important.
I don't like his introduction in this, where he's like, "Where's the hawk?" Up in his nest. He's not a bird-themed character.
That's a really good point.
He doesn't even have a bird like Falcon. Like,
See, now I want him to be a supervillain so that he shoots me. He's like, Hawkeye!
I mean, that's basically what they do with him in the Ultimate Universe after Ultimates 2.
Isn't?
Yeah, and there was theories and suggestions that he might also be Ultimate Bullseye, because we
Really?
know he used to be a criminal, and then he's taken in by S.H.I.E.L.D., and so there was this thing that was hinted at that he might actually have been Bullseye.
Now I want him to have, like, a hawk embedded in his forehead.
Well,
Like,
he does. The mask he wears in Ultimates 3 has a bullseye on like right there. It's a cool design, but that book's terrible. He looks real tired. Do you think
He's
that's
been in
makeup, or do
space.
you think he didn't sleep for like 3 days?
He's been in space for months
they had to
on
shoot
end.
this at 4 in the morning.
They couldn't let him like sleep before he began the invasion.
No, they just kept prodding him. When are you going to Earth? When are you going to Earth? Thanos really needs that. Are you going to do it soon? Incessant. Just
Deadlines in 3 hours. It's 3 in the morning. Oh, we got a real problem. Time zone difference across the cosmos.
There's no time in space.
There's a time and space museum.
No one can hear you scream. Get in there.
They're opening the portal. Go, 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 go.
So obviously, one of the big missteps in this movie is Hawkeye is brainwashed for the whole movie, and we don't really get a great sense of him. I think he of course does have a really wonderful character moment when he finally gets snapped out of it, and you get kind of a sense of his personality, but I'm so glad he got the screen time he did in Ultron, because I didn't really know who he was. And what he was about
when he snaps out of it,
there.
I liked him in this movie quite a bit.
So did I.
He's great in Ultron, and he's great in Civil War too.
But by the time he snaps out of it, it's just in time for him to be a functioning player in a big action scene.
Well, not in Civil War 2, he's a murderer in Civil War 2, but in Civil War also, he's great.
I always thought Civil War also was the better of the three. Everyone forgets that one too. You know, it's Civil War also, and Civil War 2. It's the same story, but from a different character's perspective, and it's much better handled.
So we're not talking about the series of issues where Tony and Cap are just deciding what color to paint the Avengers mansion. Civil War also.
Yeah, and then...
Because it's a very Civil War. They talk about it.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure how they were going to rope the rest of the Marvel Universe into that fight, and then intelligently they didn't.
Well, luckily everyone is an Avenger, so they all get a say.
Yeah, they just filled out ballots, put it in a ballot box, and then Jarvis read them all.
I was going to say, Jarvis definitely tallies that.
That's my big defense.
Right, of course.
That's my big defense with Civil War. When people are like, well, somebody should have died, nobody died. And I'm like, but it's a civil war.
Well, that's not how that works.
Rhodey got paralyzed.
Well, it's because it was about wall colors. It was a little innocuous.
So, I kind of want Nick Fury earlier when he's like, he's got the Tesseract. I wanted to be like, look, I understand that we have a box that opened a portal to space, and a space god just showed up, but Cosmic Cube is too silly, so we're calling it the Tesseract.
Yeah, I mean...
This stuff is not super dynamic, this car chase. I think this is where I was like, oh, I don't know if this movie is
I have that too,
what I want.
And I'm not sure about the pacing. But
it's long.
But with the Tesseract, yeah, and then the credits come up, and I had a moment in the theater where I was like, oh yeah, we haven't had credits yet. Like, it's a lengthy teaser.
Well, he's doing it like a teaser to a
problem.
TV show.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, he's a TV director first.
Yeah.
And the only movie he had directed before this was Serenity, which is 2 seasons of a TV show truncated into a film. Really, as well as that could ever be accomplished, I think, but...
Yeah.
Yep. Entirely. Gosh, they're probably still getting up into all sorts of adventures.
I invited CJ because I thought I would say things and he would agree with me.
You gotcha, boss! That sounds A-okay.
You know, Cap, I thought about it a lot and you're right. Here's your $5. But yeah, as far as the Cosmic Cube thing goes, I'm with you. Couldn't we have a name drop? Because you and I had an argument a little bit with Captain America about how important some of those naming things are. But, like, we are really... We're as over-the-top and absurd with some of the cosmic stuff as we ought to be, especially when we get to Guardians. Some of those people would call it the Cosmic Cube. But I like that I like that we call it the Tesseract on S.H.I.E.L.D. side, because that does describe what it is and what it does.
It creates a divide for me and normal people. Like, Infinity Gems, Infinity Stones, like, people know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I call it the Cosmic Cube, I don't call it the Tesseract. And people don't know what I'm talking about
because it's not referenced that way in the film.
There was ever a time for it to have a Russian accent and be this scene.
CJ was excited about the opening and the logo. We didn't talk about it. I think this is in my top 10 fanfares.
Oh yeah,
I like it a lot, and
so
I don't feel like people tend to talk about the music in this film.
Oh,
but,
it's so good.
And I'm really glad that they've stuck with it, and that it shows up in Ultron. And this is the 150th time we've complained about the title for where I'm going with this for Civil War, but it should be in Civil War.
Is it not in Civil War?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't make a lot of sense given that it's not an Avengers title.
But it should be there in the opening when the Avengers are doing a mission.
Well, and it might
right as that
you know
building,
what? It might actually pop in.
right as Scarlet Witch throws up the guy and the building blows up, and she's like, brum, brum, brum.
I am gonna at some point finally do either a top 10 soundtracks or a top 10
themes,
titles, themes. Well, I've done titles, but themes or fanfares, and that will almost certainly be in it.
Yeah, every shot, like it all looks like a comic book to me.
Well, and Eric and I both said after we saw this, I feel like we had a phone call where we were both describing the same experience to each other, which was this was the first time we really kind of felt like we were reading a comic book on screen. I mean, there were a lot of times where we felt like we were seeing a really good interpretation of kind of what comics look like, but this felt, it's paced like a comic. It feels
like a comic book on screen.
In the same kind of way comic events are. Yeah, and they've continued that.
But no, there was a real experience watching this.
The big superhero fight in Civil War is one of the most comic book superhero things you've ever seen. So I mean, we have continued that trend.
This is the first moment I think in this film when watching it where I'm like, oh yes, Joss Whedon wrote this.
Yeah. But there's a lot of it that's not super Joss Whedon. There are big flashes where, oh yes, definitely that's Joss Whedon. But we know that there were mandates.
Yeah.
We know that there were a lot of things that they said
the structure of the film, this is how the film will play out, you write it.
Mm-hmm. And then Age of Ultron feels much more like a Joss Whedon thing because there wasn't as much of that.
Mm-hmm.
God bless stunt doubles. That's an incredible...
God bless prop chairs!
Yeah, all of it. But mainly, I mean, come on.
God bless red hair dye.
Wigs in this instance.
Yeah, you know when you're right. Of course.
Cries out in pain.
I would have been left in the wind.
There's an experience watching this, and I said I cried. And I don't know if I'm sure I brought this up before, but I don't know the exact moment I cry. But it's on my second viewing, midnight showing. Like, it's great, and then the second weekend I see it with my family, and it's a packed theater on the second weekend, and I have this moment. It's somewhere during the fight where I'm like, this is this thing that I've loved for so long, and all of these people are here to see it. And it really got me. I mean, I wasn't, like, sobbing, but, like, there was, like, a couple tears.
Yeah, because it's this thing you've enjoyed almost in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
That all of a sudden is mainstream and the culture has come together to celebrate it.
And something about this...
we will never be able to quite feel like this again.
And something about this feels more pure than something like Dark Knight. Like, obviously everyone showed up and loved Dark Knight and Begins and things like that, but something about this feels really pure. I don't know exactly what.
Well, to that I would say maybe it's because it's not... I mean, it is, obviously, because everything is, but with Dark Knight especially, it's very much Christopher Nolan's interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
It's that story, but told through a certain lens. With this, it tries so hard. Speaking back to the whole, this is a comic book, we're watching and experiencing a live comic book right now. It feels more sincere.
And in Marvel's brand.
Yeah.
Well, and Joss Whedon's written comic books, and it feels like if Joss Whedon wrote Avengers, it would feel like this.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote X-Men, and that was great, and it feels like if Joss Whedon got to write Avengers, it would feel like this.
But you're right. I mean, I like what you said about interpretation, because this is obviously, to some degree, someone's interpretation, and obviously a lot of people's interpretation, but Whedon specifically. But he's doing everything he can specifically to, and we've been doing this to some degree with the rest of them, to make this feel like the flavor of Marvel Comics specifically. So you've got Nolan's Batman. It's not exactly DC's Batman, but then there's a lot of different ones of those, so it's really appropriate, because you have, I say this all the time, you have 150 different versions of Batman, and they're all valid. There's kind of one Marvel.
Yeah, up until about 2005.
Yeah.
And then every run is someone's interpretation, but there's a real consistent voice for most characters for 30, 40 years. Now we're much more about giving everybody their own voice and their own take on the character and reinvention, but...
And there's a lot of those two companies like swapping places a lot and trying to be like the other one for different reasons.
But it's real hard to find a Spider-Man comic, or a comic with Spider-Man pre, like, 2000, where he doesn't sound the same as every other Spider-Man comic. Like, maybe not all written as well, but he sounds the same.
I mean, part of the reason it was such a big deal for, specifically Marvel Comics fans, that this happened is because Marvel starts as a universe. It's not like DC where you have a lot of disparate characters that eventually come together. It's initially conceptualized that way, and so to have these separate characters that all come together in a movie to create that bigger universe that you know is there and that we've been hinting at, but you finally get to see it all together is a big deal. And so I mean, it's a big deal because it's the first time we've ever really done this on film, but it's an even bigger deal because it's one of, if not the most appropriate things to do that with.
He's great.
He is.
I really want him to get a Hulk movie. I feel like it could be a really interesting Hulk movie.
And part of the juggling act in this is reintroducing this character, and you almost have to do it like it's the first time.
Yeah. Because not everyone saw Incredible Hulk. I know he changed the actor, and
you know, it's interesting. I wonder if it was a deliberate choice in putting Black Widow in a movie and then Hawkeye to a lesser degree in Thor before we got this, so that we didn't have any character that felt like it kind of had to focus on them a lot harder because we hadn't seen them before. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do nothing with Hawkeye, and as we said when we saw Thor, it would be really easy to forget he was even in that. Mm-hmm. But I had kind of forgotten about this. Not one of these characters is introduced in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I said before, I thought going into this, especially because Hawkeye wasn't in the trailers a lot, I was like, well, Hawkeye is your eyes in. He is going to be the main character of this movie. He's going to be the one that's introduced to all of this craziness, and he's not at all. It's
we honestly do that
Widow.
more with, we honestly do that more with Captain America, actually.
I feel like it's Black Widow. Like, we open on Black Widow, then she goes to Hulk.
Well, no, that's true. She's kind of your through it, but as far as this being having all these kind of strange characters that we're trying to bring together, we kind of look at that through Captain America's lens a lot.
Gosh, nothing if not consistent. I agree with Cap. No, yeah, totally. Especially when he's like going off on his own and finding Hydra weaponry and like him going toe to toe with Tony, even that heated argument back and forth.
And I mean, yeah, we don't open with him.
Sure.
But
there's the...
And it's not just his movie, but remember that Whedon said he had to cut a lot of the Captain America stuff from this, and he seemed to have a hard time not just making this Captain America 2.
Well, and he said that that was his choice. Like, he was like, I spent too much time with Captain America, and that's really for the Captain America movie.
And he was right about it.
We had the Floating Heads of Doom before, which we'll get to see as sitting people of Doom in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and I made a mistake in some video. Maybe it was Winter Soldier where I thought it was all the same actors. It's not. Apparently, a couple of them were replaced.
Oh, okay. I like that joke was not in the teaser at the end of First Avenger. I didn't remember that because I never watched that end credit scene.
I didn't remember it either. But it's clipped up real hard.
Yeah, but I like it so that you get that joke in the theater.
I mentioned this when we did Captain America, but I'll tell you about it because you haven't heard me say this. But in the theater, I took my son Jason. He was 2 at the time, and when the bag falls on the ground, Jason in the middle of the theater, big packed audience, he goes, "Uh-oh!" and the whole audience is cracking up. And then Captain America goes over to that bag, and that joke doesn't play because no one in the theater is paying attention to it. It was the second time I saw it, so I felt kind of bad. I was like, oh, but people aren't laughing at all the bags on the floor. I don't know, for a second, this security clearance information looks a little bit like a wiki page. Tesseract. Noun.
Oh, and he says Howard Stark fished out of the ocean, which...
They fished it out of the ice.
That ties into Iron Man 2, where there's that drawing of a square.
Oh,
when Tony's going through the stuff, and we've tried real hard to make that the Tesseract, and I don't know if that is intentional. Like, I don't know if they knew when they were making that movie that we were going to do Cosmic Cube, but there is a...
Or that we were even going to have Howard Stark in Captain America. I don't know if they knew that at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to tell how many of the ducks were in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But we see him looking for Captain America at the end of that movie, and I don't remember if we see him fish the Tesseract out or not.
Pretty sure he grabs it.
But I think he...
I'm fairly positive he does. That's what he finds instead, and he's like, well, that's cool, but I miss my friend.
We just watched it.
Alright, so this is...
We were doing this.
This is the last time... How many films past this are we? Like we're like a good 10 films past this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last time Tony Stark will ever talk about free energy.
Yeah.
And someone needs to remember this and bring it back because it's kind of a driving force of his character that he's forgotten.
And it seems like a thing he would still be on about when he's trying to protect the whole world with robots.
Yeah, and Civil War, when he's talking to all those kids, that's a movie there. I mean, that's kind of Wildcats 3.0, but that's a movie.
Yeah.
Where you deal with him trying to give everyone free energy. And the pushback. You could do a real cool, corporate thriller. And
yeah, he's kind of trying to create utopia. That would be a big part of it. I mean, you'd want to eliminate third world countries.
He just keeps finding more...
You want to eliminate the fact that they're third world, not eliminating the countries, CJ.
Completely, but then he remembers that, oh man, but giant robots. Well, what if we just... I don't know. What does he say in Age of Ultron? He tries to create a giant shield for the Earth, right?
Yeah.
That's what Ultron was meant to be.
Right, so you protect the outside. I mean, you protect the inside from the outside, but then there's all these problems inside.
Well,
in
a
perfect
I mean,
world.
if you
and they are superheroes that are about saving people, and
right.
he says we need to try. We're talking about that movie now, but he says isn't the whole idea that we wouldn't have to do this forever? Free energy would solve a lot of that.
But if you look at I think you can look at Phase 2 as, at least from Iron Man 3 to Age of Ultron, is theoretically Tony Stark not being able to cope with Avengers, and so he is not thinking about free energy for that period of time. His main concern is there are monsters in space and they're coming for us. But by the end of Civil War, by the beginning of Civil War, he should have remembered and been like, oh yeah, this free energy thing, this is really important. It's going to change the world.
So after all that talking about Ultron we were just doing, I just think it's really important to mention that he just used the phrase security snafu. I'm not saying that was intentional foreshadowing, but I kind of love that that phrase came out of his mouth before the Avengers are formed.
And there's a LMD reference.
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole season of television about
half a season of S.H.I.E.L.D. about that. His name is Agent is one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And I don't...
You know that's not scripted?
Is it not?
I would imagine that's a...
I mean, yeah.
Well, it sounds like a Downey line, and it also sounds like a Whedon line, yeah. Could have gone either way.
When one day I make you watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
yeah.
It's like that, where him and Shane Black have such similar sensibilities.
Oh, you can't tell in the face for no reason. Why would I do that? I love that movie so much.
I need to see
does
that.
Does that suck? It's like what, like a 60% chance? 60%? Who told
We're
you
just
that?
desperate.
But I was going somewhere with the Tony Stark thing. Oh, but yeah, in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, there's a similar thing where him improvising and Shane Black writing are very similar, and you can't tell what lines are, because surely some of them are.
So good.
It just occurred to me.
That must be new Hulk footage that we made just for that little reel there, because he doesn't look like the Incredible Hulk.
No, he's got Ruffalo's hair.
Yeah.
And
the long hair.
And he's a slightly different color.
Yeah.
But yeah, it occurs to me that, and I didn't know about this until just now, that some of Tony's animosity for Coulson comes from that bit in Iron Man 2 when he's
when he tries to tase him?
When he's babysitting him and he's not letting him leave that compound and stuff. I kind of forgot that they had that
Well, and he doesn't like S.H.I.E.L.D. and he has
That
no
whole
respect for
relationship.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, of course. But
spends the
I
entire
forget that
first-
they've spent time together, and it was never in a cordial way.
He spends the entire first movie just snubbing him.
Yeah.
Just snubbing him. Like, yeah, okay, I'll be there. Bye. And then leaves for days on end.
He had just been abducted by terrorists.
Retroactively, I really wish that he at some point was like, how do you not realize that that's an acronym? And then, my dad helped start it. It's been here for decades. How do you not?
Only Stanley Tucci can do what Stanley Tucci does.
It's got a really
Penny in the air.
I guess
really
we
like
are
the
giving most of
Starstruck thing.
the exposition to
Yeah.
Captain America.
Which, of course, makes a lot of sense because, I mean, that's a thing that we have to deal with in this.
Yeah.
And he has not been out of the ice for very much time at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad that, and I think it just lined up this way, but this was maybe somewhat intentional, that all of the Captain America having to catch up stuff happens in a team movie that's not his own movie, and some of it can happen off screen, and because that can
we
get
did
real
do it a
tedious
bit
and
in Winter
annoying.
Soldier.
Yeah, but a lot of it's happened already.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's stuff he doesn't know about, but he's
I
caught
was
some. and-
real worried. I remember being worried that like we were going to get like the what is for me the like encapsulament of Fish Out of Water, which is not a story I particularly like most of the time.
Yeah.
I was really worried we were going to get the scene of him walking past the TVs, seeing himself on the TV, and going back and being like, "What's going on here?" It's in a lot of Fish Out of Water movies. And
How long do you speculate he's been out of ice right now?
a couple of months,
You think?
maybe.
At most.
Yeah. Because he doesn't factor into the weird timeline thing with Thor. And Iron Man
And
2
Loki
and Hulk.
wouldn't have needed all that much time to get this plot together.
Yeah, he kind of rushes it pretty fast.
Well, except that Thor took place 2 years ago because of the Iron Man 2 thing.
Yeah.
There's a timeline issue that Iron Man 2 creates.
Okay, well that's a good point.
I like how Loki's inner psyche definitely has him wearing that hat.
Which he doesn't wear in this movie? Or
No,
does
that's
wear
how
at the
he
end?
mentally sees himself.
But I would argue, as far as the time is the how long Captain America's been out thing goes, like I would argue that there's no reason Fury would wait more than a month or two to come talk to him about the Avengers initiative when he's already been talking to Stark about it. And of course, we have to do some legwork to make those after credit scenes and what we've done with that make as much sense as we can with what we've kind of changed and retconned already from all of that, because by this movie we say that they've already kind of decided to scrap that and they're not even going to do that program anymore, and now Fury decides it's necessary because there's an alien invasion. A part of me always wished that they had just gone with the initial plan, which was, let's put it together in case we needed it, and then, oh, we need it.
Well...
I mean, it could break down and not be working, because we always talk about how this is supposed to be about a bunch of people that don't make sense to go together.
Right.
And so it could have been like, they try to get together and it doesn't work, and then an alien invasion brings them together. You could have done that movie, I guess.
If they're already together and they're brought together, then that becomes really Ultimate-y, where you
That's
have
true.
a government-run superhero team. Whereas here it's just people coming together and working together for this
But in that
moment,
case,
and then they leave at the end.
Okay, but and I'm with you. I like that better. But then I almost wish the Avengers Initiative thing was never there in the first place.
Yeah, well, they.
I almost
didn't
wish
do
it was
at the beginning.
their idea.
Well, and the initiative thing is interesting because it's a reference to a thing
That's
that,
all commercial, right?
Yeah,
Like that's all
Yeah.
just we've got to get the audience ramped up for the idea of this team.
well, and the Avengers Initiative
It's a branding
is
thing.
kind of a callback to a thing that just happened in the comics post Civil War, the Initiative,
Oh,
where
yeah.
we were with the superhero team in every state.
I forgot about that.
There's some
The
great
50
stuff.
State
in there.
Initiative?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
like-
That's how they get the order, right?
that's how they get the order.
You love the order.
I love the order.
Oh, you love them.
Yep.
It's the one Matt Fraction thing that Marvel's like.
I love the
never
covers. I've not read it yet.
It's kind of a prequel to Fraction's Iron Man run. It's weird. He sets up a lot. Ezekiel Stane shows up there. He said before if that book didn't end, Pepper would have gotten armor in that because she's a main character in that.
Why doesn't he have someone showing him around and, like, making sure that he's fine? You think Shield would spare at least one person to like?
Just be like,
oh no, over here.
Yeah, yep. You might step your toe on that. Step over this way.
You need for Banner or
We don't want you to
For Banner.
Yeah.
Just like a really sweet old lady that like is incapable of irritating him at all.
Oh, but old people can be really irritating. You wouldn't do that.
Or an entourage of 12 Secret Service guys, which is kind of, I think, what I would do.
Or just like the most helpless, like 8-year-old child, or whatever, just so he constantly is in check and is just not wanting to.
No, you can't have.
Oh, that's a great point. So that he's not getting angry.
Yeah, just something innocent, like even a bunny or something that you can tie to him.
You can't have.
I don't know.
You can't have a helpless 8-year-old child because that might stress him out trying to keep the child safe.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Although
Natalia started that young.
Yeah, he could be afraid that he's going to kill the kid, and then that turns him into the whole...
hanging out
with
Black Widow. That's not a bad way to stay calm.
She's too busy making eyes at Captain America. Except not really.
She's not making eyes at Captain America.
I know it.
I really liked that without coming right out and, like, making a lot of fun at it, where we're saying this is such a stupid, ridiculous idea, you know, the helicarrier, because they always fall out of the sky.
Oh,
we do have a kind of self-aware line with Bruce Banner, where this is a really bad idea. And it's because it's the Hulk, but I think that kind of also is suggesting a little bit, like, why would you want this giant thing in the air?
A helicarrier has never shown up without falling out of the sky if it is not a Shield book. And even then...
But now that you have that 40-inch slip, I want to create something called the Helicarrier. I really do.
Those suits are so cool.
They are.
Every time. They look so good.
They do.
Do we ever see them again?
Yeah, they pop up in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, they're in Winter Soldier. What's Maria Hill's name?
And his coat is also cool.
Colby Smulders.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Colby Smulders was going to be Wonder Woman in Joss Whedon's Wonder Woman movie.
Is that right?
Yep.
Wow.
I would have watched it.
I can see it.
Yeah,
yep.
Definitely would have paid money to go see that.
But and I think that's even pre like How I Met Your Mother. Like, I think.
No. That was already on a few years.
Was it? When does that start?
I don't know. She's already very much in How I Met Your Mother when this was made.
Yeah, I know, but it's
that
like
was
3-4 years before.
9 years, was it not?
How I Met Your
I mean,
Mother.
it was on a good long time.
That started like 07.
Probably. There's like.
No, it was earlier than that.
Is it?
I think.
I don't know.
I'll check it. I don't like to look up too much when we do these, but I'll check it.
Sure.
I feel like...
Because that's morally acceptable.
I feel like this Black Widow and this Captain America can never be together.
You know, Lucius Fox wouldn't be okay with that.
Oh man, Lucius Fox would have a fit.
He would quit.
Yeah, he would.
I feel like this Black Widow and this Captain America can never be together because she's too self-aware. And she would think that she would bring Captain America down.
Oh man, but then we can never get.
Oh
the
yeah,
next
and we
Avengers.
played with that a little bit.
We played with that
Winter Soldier. I love that.
I don't think she would.
05.
She goes. Oh, okay. She goes for Bruce Banner because he's also damaged. She would not date, and like I thought it was
I'm
weird.
not crazy about that. I don't really like the entire dynamic between those two. It's odd to me.
You'll have to come back for Ultron so we can talk. about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
He hasn't showered for days.
He hasn't been allowed to.
I know it, but he would.
I mean, Barton would have the same
fine,
problem.
though.
He looks fine.
Yeah, but he hasn't been mind controlled for as long, or has he?
No, he has.
He's been actually
Yep.
mind controlled for like 15 minutes.
That's not
longer.
cool. They want it to be cool. This is not cool.
But he does have military. Is that Sitwell? That's Sitwell. I always forget that he's in these early ones.
That's it. Well, and he's in Thor.
He is in Thor. You're very right. Oh man. No. Oh no.
Did you watch any
You're
of
saying
these?
he's military training.
I watched like the first 7 episodes.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
about
you didn't get through the stuff that could tie to Winter Soldier?
No.
Because that's the only reason I ever remember Sitwell's name is that they set up what happens in Winter Soldier with him in that show. They he's like, I gotta go onto a boat, and then he leaves to go onto the boat, and then he's on the boat. And
I love how
taken over by the
he's-
worst C-class villain ever.
That's right, but of course we
Oh
don't
my
know that
God.
he's evil there, and that's one of the tie-in things they did that I actually really liked a lot.
I wish Fat Truck the Leaper had half the mustache that he should have.
I know. I have the same complaint. There's the little picture that we get of.
Is it like the mask you really wanted Zemo to have?
No, that's different.
He gets a turtleneck.
What?
He gets a turtleneck.
Who does?
Zemo.
It's not the same.
It's the same.
It's not
stitching.
the same.
I got to see that movie like 3 weeks early.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and when I got out, the only thing Eric wanted to know is if Zemo had the mask, and I told him he didn't, and then he was like, "But see, I don't believe you because I know you know how badly I want it, and you could just be screwing it." And I was like, "Then why did you ask?"
And then the same thing happened with Steve because he also saw the ring. I was like, "Was Cap lying to me? Does Zemo have the mask?" He goes, "No, Zemo doesn't have a mask." I'm
You're
like,
like,
they
they're
could both be messing with me, so
screwing
I'm
with me
so
right now.
excited when he has that mask.
So that I come out giddy, and you know what? We would have both done that to you.
Yeah, no, you totally would have. I'm not wrong. Okay, so before when they were pulling up pictures, they had a picture of Loki, like a snapshot, and he looks so oblivious and just man about town. I really like that picture of Loki. It just looked like he's just going around.
Yeah, he's going to the museum. Just
Well, but they have that picture from before, which actually looks like it's here,
Love it.
which is strange.
That guy's jaw is so messed up.
I actually, if I could bought any Loki action figure, it would be that one.
Casual dress Loki.
Yeah.
This is horrifying.
Well, not casual, dressed up, but wearing what we would wear.
Sure. That's
Also
casual
with that
for him.
coat, yeah.
That's most certainly casual
That's
for him.
true, yeah.
down,
Straight off the page with the giant helmet, yeah.
Oh, it's so creepy and I love it.
What happens to
Yeah.
that eye? I don't
It,
know.
like-
I don't want to know.
it, like-
No, I don't want to know. I'm good.
I was intrigued. Also, this music choice here, Ian, having this scored by the orchestra. Of course, the orchestra's probably running at this point, but
I like that.
that's great.
Yeah.
But that's a real Whedon choice. I bet he came up with that.
Yeah.
It
I don't know how I
reminds me
feel
a
about
little
the
bit of
staff
how we-
showing up anywhere, because that's not part of him. That's not part of his...
He changed his staff. He changed the appearance of the staff while he was in there. That's
Yeah, he
why
told
had
him.
that-
Oh, that's
the
right.
walking
That's right.
He had it
staff.
the
That's
whole
right.
time.
Okay.
He can manipulate forms of things, but it's nothing more than illusion.
But yeah, that score choice reminds me a little bit of
That's a real car they broke there.
Oh yeah.
of the ballet episode in Angel.
Yes. Oh, that's a great episode.
That's why I'm thinking that was a Whedon choice.
I'll be right back.
And of course, she's a big music guy. Okay, we'll try to hold the fort, but I don't think we'll say anything nearly as interesting or quippy. We're gonna try.
Oh man, it's just you and me now.
Man, what are we gonna do, CJ?
We didn't plan for this. Nobody tell me anything. Oh, this is amazing.
Isn't this your natural state, CJ? Or like you just want some like really pretty Asgardian man to show up and tell you what you're supposed to do with your life? Isn't that?
This does feel right.
No,
does feel
CJ sees himself
I
as
couldn't
the
decide
prettiest
what-
guardian
I
man.
couldn't decide what you were doing. I thought maybe what I said like disturbed you so much where you're like, wait a minute, Cap, do you want to be?
No, I just needed to feel it out. Yeah, that does.
Yeah,
It's
that
weird.
does-
I've never.
Kneeling does feel like my natural
Yeah,
state.
thank God.
I hope Zod doesn't suddenly show up. I might have that with him too.
Oh man, he'd get a hit there.
I might kneel before Zod.
Nah, me and Zod would get along thick as thieves. Oh yeah, saving the elderly. God, he's so much older than that man. He's so much older than that
I think that
guy.
guy does a really good job.
Oh, he does. He's so good.
This line should be cheesy. It shouldn't work. It
But
should
he's
feel
amazing.
groany. But he owns it so much. It's such a great line.
And he has 4 or 5 of those
Yeah.
in this movie.
There's only one
when
God,
he says
man.
there's only one
Yes.
God, totally works. Totally works. That's,
And he doesn't dress like that.
and he doesn't dress like that.
Rocking him with the shield. Oh man, that one punch usually knocks out everybody. Though.
I'll say that with the metal bit this time.
And with that, there's only one God line. I always had so much respect for Whedon, a guy that you know is an atheist and really progressive, having him say what he would say.
He recognizes the characters.
Yeah.
He respects the characters.
Yeah, I love
1000%.
I have a thing like that with
That's
with
just
Ultron.
good writing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thing like that with Ultron. Ultron mentions God at some point. God's just winding up. And I
Yeah.
love that we'll talk about with Ultron, but like he analyzes all of culture, and that is exactly the way you would phrase it to people.
Yeah.
It is not what he thinks, it's how you would phrase it to people. It's great. I like
The
that.
great interviews is great. Once again, sounds like a thing Downey could have just come up with on the spot. Obviously,
Tony Stark watches movies?
Yeah.
He makes a Westworld...
I don't know how he has the time, but yes!
He makes a Westworld joke in 3, which is a joke that no one...
He's watching movies in
There's
his house.
definitely a projector in there. Most certainly Friday is flying things for him.
And no, it's
Jarvis at this point.
Yeah, it's Jarvis.
It's like, okay, I'm so sick of people telling me to watch Stranger Things, so pilot.
Jarvis, I need Stranger Things episode 1 while I'm flying to Thailand.
Sorry.
No, he makes a Westworld joke in Iron Man 3, and I think I'm like one of 6 people that got that, but now everyone will get it when they go back to it because it's an enormously popular television series. And they're going to wonder how it referenced a TV show before it happened.
Yeah, he's really sneaky. You shouldn't trust him. You trust me, though.
That's going to be
I'm not sneaky. I'm real open about how much I don't like authority.
I am going to make fun of you.
Oh, and by the way, did I tell you about how I privatized world peace? Did I tell you about that? Because I did that.
Yeah.
That was all me.
I'm really cool.
We had the longest period of
That's
peace
not going to come back to bite us
in
at all
history
in
under
Asian
my
culture.
reign as nuclear deterrent.
Now, I will say...
I love how it looks with the blue.
Yeah.
We do it again in Iron Man 3. I love how it looks with the blue. I love it. More shots should be done like that.
In some ways, this does kind of feel like an introduction for Thor, even though he had his own movie. Not because we changed anything or retcon or anything, but just POV-wise. Just... Nobody else besides a guy who is mind-controlled right now has had any interaction with him at all. Well, besides Coulson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, they have... Okay, but wait. They have files. They had extensive knowledge and things
Shield
that were...
does.
They all did. Cap was looking at a Hulk file before he got to the helicarrier.
That's true.
Tony had all of the files when he was at Stark Tower.
All the files!
All of them. All of them at once because he gets bored with
Yeah, they
this
should
one.
all know about him.
Yeah,
That's a
everybody
great
should
point.
know
That's
about
a shot
Thor right
from
now.
The Ultimates.
Except
Oh,
for maybe
cool.
Banner. Banner probably shouldn't know about everybody because he's just choosing to do the one thing for them and then leave.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be reading up on everything necessarily.
Yeah,
No,
they shouldn't
certainly.
be surprised by Thor. You're right. This scene works even less than I thought it did.
Yeah, well done.
And obviously, Black Widow should know.
Probably. I would imagine. I don't know. It's really hard to figure out what she knows versus what she's just lying about.
That's right. You never know where you stand with her.
But she's pretty high up in S.H.I.E.L.D. She's buddy with Fury. I feel like she would know about
She's
Thor.
buddy, but I mean, how
But-
buddy is Fury with her?
Don't forget about compartmentalization.
Yeah. How much do you need to know?
I feel like Thor is a thing that, like, when you go into the office, you can't not talk about. You're
Yeah.
like,
Right.
did you know what happened over the weekend?
Have you been out to New Mexico? It's going crazy over there right now.
There's a giant metal
you hear
suit
about
that's just destroying things, like some kind of destroyer.
Did you hear about codename Lightning Man?
Oh no!
I'm not going to name
It's a
any
Whedon
names, but it's
movie.
Norse.
It's a Whedon movie. It's codenamed Captain Hammer.
Yeah. And the hammer is actually a hammer.
There's only one captain in the Avengers universe. Well, there's also the Captain, and Captain Britain,
No,
but none of them have come
Captain
in
Marvel.
yet. Captain Marvel, none of them have come in yet.
Yeah, they're already the other captains.
There needs to be discussion about that.
I also like that Captain America is actually a captain.
Yep. That needs to.
I want to say he actually probably eventually earns that rank for real. I would
There
assume.
needs to be a conversation between
somewhere in that montage.
Captain America and Captain Marvel about how Captain Marvel's not actually a captain.
Yes.
All of them. None of the Captain Marvels are actually captains.
Yeah, on Earth's military ranking, maybe.
See, Carol Danvers is a pilot.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know what.
I'm just saying they could just go up into space for a little while, come back and say,
Well,
"Yeah, no, I'm a
Marvel
space
might
captain."
be a captain of the Kree army.
Probably, if
Yeah.
not higher.
Okay, so to their credit, it at
like
least
that.
comes up as the Cube sometimes.
That just makes me think of Transformers. The Cube.
Yeah, but it's at least. But
Sam, have you
See-
found the Cube?
to your point about the whole cosmic cube thing, I don't know that I like Thor calling it the Tesseract. Like they could be calling it the cosmic cube. On the other hand,
No, that's its name in this.
on the other hand,
universe.
the Asgardians do get and have advanced
What do
science,
the Asgardians?
so they
call
would understand what
What?
that is actually.
What do the Asgardians call the Tesseract?
They're still calling it the
Tesseract.
Tesseract.
They
yeah.
call it the
Yeah,
Tesseract? They
Thor,
do call it the Tesseract,
Thor
you're
just
right.
called it the Tesseract.
He
yeah.
should not have his helmet up.
Nah, I
That's
mean,
bad strategy. Any moment, hammer to the face.
lightning to the face.
Yeah.
Mess up that pretty face real good.
It is real hard not to just look at the scene as a lot of fan service.
I wonder if this scene is a mandated scene.
Oh, I'm almost positive it is. It's. And how much was the movie sold on this scene? It was all over the trailers.
Yeah, this was all
And then
over the
someone
trailers.
somewhere said, "Hey guys, what if this was the movie?" Civil War.
And I outline in my rewind how I thought different ways we might have contrived this to seem less contrived. The big thing I was complaining about, and I'm sure I talked about this on the commentary that we did, but with that, I meant to mention that part of the reason we wanted to have a guest on this one is because Eric and I have done a commentary. We've done this before.
Oh, fair.
But the big thing that I like to complain about here is when Thor brings down the hammer, and I love that line, the hammer down. But when he brings the hammer down, how does he know that the shield is indestructible and that he's not gonna murder Captain America?
I think he's just willing to roll those dice, man.
Maybe so.
I feel like he was just, yeah, okay, I'll destroy the absolute.
Perhaps so, but how much of a threat is Captain America at that point to him, really? And that's the...
Well, he comes from a warrior
Exactly.
culture.
He's
He's an
any.
opponent.
Yeah. But
Thor's just sick and tired of it. This guy he can go by the wayside. I can be okay with losing one human out of all of the billions of humans.
I'm not sure that that's the Thor we set up in his own movie is the problem.
That's fair.
Comic book
Yeah, he
Thor,
learned a lesson.
Simonson Thor, absolutely. But we talk about this in the Thor movie. We do a little bit of this, but I would love to see more of the difference and the discussion about the difference of the moralities between us and the Asgardians as a warrior race. Yeah, exactly.
Why isn't Thor more questioning of what that shield is made out of?
That's what I just said!
No, he's saying after he hits it.
Yeah,
shouldn't he
right
like,
now.
Wait, what is
that?
Yeah, that too.
Where
Sure.
did you get that? This is not something that normally happens.
I'm going to argue with myself. When he says, "You want me to bring the hammer down," and Captain America is prepared for it,
He's egging him on.
then he probably assumes that he's got enough power of some kind, whether it's in the shield or in what, because he knows he's fighting against. He has to know that he's fighting against an advanced, an enhanced human.
Physiological being.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Can I talk about something that's gonna bore you to tears for a second?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, man.
Okay.
Not
so,
a long day acting, man.
I just thought of it because of
See how comfy CJ is.
Oh, yeah, get in
there. So one of the things that the movies have done to Iron Man in the comics is because the movies don't net the like glowing chest piece or the glowing eyes, but it's always yellow until the movies, and then it's Iron Man 25 at the beginning of Stark Resilient. He switches to blue lights, and we've never looked back, and it's the right choice. Blue looks so much better than yellow. I'm just gonna.
No, sure, yeah.
There was a whole scene
I
that
can
was
see
kind of lit by his glowing blue, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's yellow in the comics, and that doesn't look nearly as good, at least for most of the 2000s.
Was this cell a thing that you could buy for a Loki action figure? Because if they didn't build that, I'd be real surprised.
No, but
you know where you can push a button and it sucks out the bottom? Like, that'd be really cool.
But if you recall...
But it keeps breaking. I mean... they don't sell it because it's just, you have to constantly get a new cage.
Well, no, but you can have it where you press a button, like the bottom drops out of it.
Like it just falls to infinity
and the
then
bottom
it can go
drops
right
out.
back
Yeah.
up. Okay, that's fair.
Now, if you recall, I don't know if you will, but if you recall, this cell is from the Ultimates. It is
and
what
you
we
pointed
put
that out when we
Banner in.
reviewed it, yeah.
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 And it's interesting because...
Okay, I'm glad we're talking about this post doing that.
It's interesting because they say they built the cell for Bruce Banner, and Whedon does the foreword to the
They
Ultimates
built it on
book
rock
I
and
have.
roll.
Like, Whedon is very aware of the Ultimates and really likes the Ultimates, which is a little weird. Some of the sensibility stuff seems off for Whedon, but he really likes the Ultimates.
Yeah, he and Mark Millar don't seem like kindred spirits to me.
Mm-mm.
I can see him respecting Millar, but I mean, they just would look at things real different. It's like Alan Moore and Morrison. They just seem like they'd be kind of...
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that much of a Because that's
Well,
a
they're
real...
both wizards. They have that in common.
God, he thinks he's so smart and so pretty and so much better than everyone else on this ship. And it just gets me every
We're
time.
talking about Loki or
Oh,
Tony?
Loki, 100%, yeah. Oh, it burns you to be so close.
I kind of want them to just... I kind of just want them to argue about who's got the cooler coat or cloak, you know?
Oh, it's Hawkeye and Age of Ultron. Hawkeye and Age of Ultron is the coolest coat, and I want it.
But Fury and Loki are two guys on the opposite side of a cell wall that both are
I think it's
Loki.
each
other.
amazing cloaks or coats
I think
that
it's
are
Loki,
flowing
'cause
behind
I
them.
feel like I can buy Nick Fury's coat. I don't feel like I can buy Loki's coat. Like I can get a coat that
Well, you
looks like
probably
Nick
can't
Fury.
now.
Well, but that's what I mean is like I can get a coat that looks like Nick Fury.
You can probably get it from that website where Steve Baxi buys coats.
If I was getting a Loki coat, it would have to actually be a Loki coat. Like I can get
Right.
I can get a coat that looks like Nick Fury. It's not a Nick Fury coat.
Yeah, that's true. So it wouldn't have straps in exactly the same places, but yeah.
Thor, you know what cats are?
I'm sure they have cats in Asgard.
But it's...
And that caused controversy. It's a whole group of people upset, campaigned against this movie.
Over what now?
They berate adoption!
Yep, they made the adoption joke, and there's a
Yeah.
whole group of parents that were like, my kids are adopted, and that's not okay that you made a joke about that. That's the thing that happened. after
Oh,
this movie came out.
yeah, now that you say that.
Yep. It's still
It
funny.
never stops being funny.
Nope.
And of course, I get giddy because I'm a massive Galaga fan.
Galaga's amazing.
Do you have an opinion on Kobe
And then we
Smulders
get to see it.
as Maria Hill?
Oh, she's not malicious enough.
No, she's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
She's not. Everything about her
She's
is...
a good person.
She is.
She's a totally different character.
Yeah.
No.
And although I'll go as far as to say that I don't think we know for sure in this movie. Winter Soldier drives that home. Once we get there,
Yeah, I couldn't get a good
she's
read on this
nothing but
movie.
support.
'Cause-
Yeah.
She's nothing but, oh, here, let me be there. Let me
They
be the
even-
assist. Let me...
you could make the argument, and I don't know if I would, but you could maybe make the argument that they even play her a little bit as a red herring of Winter Soldier, where she could maybe go either way.
Well, and I think she could play comic book Maria Hill.
I feel like that's probably why they cast her, and then they wrote her more docile.
Well, and it's still possible because the thing that I realized with Maria Hill, reading through New Avengers and then also reading Ultimate Spider-Man, because he does Maria Hill again, except it's Carol Danvers in Ultimate Spider-Man. It's not that she's bad; it's that she's overwhelmed. She's like brought in as an outside person to run S.H.I.E.L.D. after Nick Fury disappears, and she is way unprepared
Are you
for that
talking about
job.
Civil
Out of
War?
her
Are you
depth.
talking about...
I'm talking about before Civil War in New Avengers when she first shows up,
Yeah, okay.
and she mind reads one of the
He knows
Avengers.
what cats
It's all
are, but he
right.
doesn't know what monkeys are.
But
Right.
but in the Civil War, that's
Or
who
doesn't.
she is that she's
Or just doesn't get the reference, maybe.
not. She is not qualified to run Shield, and that's kind of.
Why does it have a joystick? Did anyone else
They were
notice
just
that?
asking for
There was
it.
a joystick on there.
So here's my
Camera
guess.
control, maybe?
Yeah. So
Multi-purpose joystick on S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. Whatever.
the question is not why is there a joystick on that. I mean, it's amazing that it happens to be where you would want it if
Right.
you were playing the game.
Yeah.
Because it could be on the right very easily. You'd be like, well, screw that. I'm not putting my hands like this. But the real question is, how did he get it to configure with that game on that monitor?
Maybe
That's
there's like an onboard psychiatrist who believes in like rec. Like just fully believes in recreation for S.H.I.E.L.D. characters and they don't lose it when they have to like imprison Abomination or like some other terrible,
I
terrifying
figure
creature.
they have quarters and they could have that in their quarters. I don't know.
So basically just what Matthew McConaughey gets into.
That's actually a really good line.
Funny
that I
things are?
never really noticed, but yeah.
Yeah, I've
Some
never
of the
noticed that line.
The
either.
funny things are, that's great. Because he's so fast and quippy, it's really easy to miss. Because you're always processing the last interesting and amusing thing he said. And most of his lines are both. Whether they're made up on the spot or in the script.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things about this movie, of course, is the comparison and contrast that it's constantly doing effortlessly between Stark and Banner, and not two characters I ever would have thought to look at next to each other as hard as this
Oh,
movie
and we
does.
keep trying to do it in the comics, and it just has not worked.
Really?
Yeah, we keep shoving those two characters together and trying to do the Science Bros thing, and it's not worked in the
And
comics.
it works brilliantly in this movie.
You know what relationship that does work for me in the comics right now, though, with Tony Stark? Doc Strange.
I don't like it.
Oh, man, I do, though.
I hate that facial hair thing.
I think it's super cute.
Right.
That's what I don't like about it.
Eric is really anti-cute.
I'm
and
real
more
anti-cute.
Anti-cute whenever we get more things like Baby Groot.
It's meme baity.
Yeah.
Like that scene is not there because it comes from the characters. It's because Joss Whedon,
Bendis.
Brian Michael Bendis wanted that panel to go viral, and it did. And I don't like
He
it.
specifically complained about the very panel that you're excited about.
That's fair. I think
When
it's
that-
hilarious.
when that came out.
The
No, we
week
talked
the
about
issue
it
came out.
before. Yeah, antioxidants.
I feel like you might have even given me a phone call about specifically that panel.
That I might have. It really bothered me because he gets Tony Stark really, really well, and then there's scenes like that, like one per issue. What is he eating?
Blueberries.
Okay.
Antioxidants, man. It's brain food.
I want it to be strawberries so bad. And then he's like, well, I found out that Pepper Potts has an allergy to these, and we're in a helicarrier that's way away from her, so I can actually eat them now. It's exciting.
And that relationship you're not enjoying in the comics right now, because one of them's dead and the other one's in a weird tech coma.
Yeah, so you were maybe enjoying
Doc
it a year
Strange is
ago.
dead right
but-
now?
Oh, no, you're right. I was thinking Hulk. Hulk was
I
dead.
was
Yeah,
saying,
no,
Doc Strange
Strange
is
still has his own boy.
Yeah, he's hanging out with all the Sorcerer Supremes right now.
Remember you were asking me the other day if that book was still going? I think it's like 18 or 19 I saw it. the
Well,
other
it's
day.
because I saw the ad for Sorcerer Supreme. Sorcerer
Shaw's not drawing
Supreme.
anymore, though.
It should be Sorcerer Supreme.
It
But
should,
it
should.
is Sorcerer Supremes, but it should be Sorcerer
It
Supreme.
would be funny if it was Sorcerer's Supremes,
But
and then it was just about the kind of pizza they like to eat.
I knew that book was coming
Yeah.
out, so I thought Aaron's book might be ending. But the fact that he's still going on it makes me think I should maybe try it. I really like Bachelor.
You can't.
Bacello.
How are you making this comparison right now, Tony? This bugs me so hard.
What's that?
You're not the same person. There's not some sort of one coin and you guys are both sides of it. That's not what it is. It's very different. Very different.
Yeah, it's a connection that breaks down somewhere, but
The arc reactor doesn't go crazy and murder people.
Right. Most certainly. A kindred, sure. Yeah, you guys are still man of science. You're very much into the whole super... Right is right in your brain, and I get that. But it's not the same thing. I can understand why Mark Ruffalo is hesitant in his power. 1,000%.
yeah, but I also really like that. But like when Whedon scripts that, he knows that because
Yeah.
he has Banner say exactly what you're saying. Like his very next line is "It's different," which is the argument you're making.
There.
If this was a comic book, he'd have his mask on.
Yeah, you're right.
I can see why you'd think that that bit of it is maybe a little bit of a forced comparison, but
But that is a thing people do.
yeah, sure.
It's realistic. We're in a tunnel for a very long time before we cut. Did that feel like a really long time to anyone else?
Nah, I was enjoying the ride.
Is that vibranium?
No, that's, oh gosh, they totally said what it was a minute ago. Is it iridium? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's something diem.
I remember.
Triskelium?
Because she was
Got
too
it.
expensive.
Why?
Put that in there.
She's not in danger.
She's also really
She's
sick.
working under Skarsgård. Like, she's never interact with the Tesseract. Why? Other than we have to name drop her.
Well, maybe she was en route to the facility of Dark Fusion or whatever. and-
From the ending of Thor, I get the impression she doesn't know he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think she's working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Also, we get a throwaway explanation as to why Thor is able to be here, regardless
The
of the
dark
Bifrost being
matter.
destroyed. But why isn't anyone else, like, say, Coulson, asking that question?
Oh, yes, Skarsgård, whatever his name is, Selvig.
Yeah.
Something's working
Something.
for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about when you kept saying that. When you kept saying Skarsgård, I was like, what are we talking about?
Why would you ever
That sounds
not
like
say
a place.
Skarsgård? It is one of the greatest last names that has ever been given to
Sure, I
everyone.
just didn't know what we were talking about because that's not his name.
Okay, but yeah, Selvig's working for.
I'm gonna call him that now, but
They have to know about Thor.
Yeah,
like they have to have detailed files on
They
Thor
only
because
pick up Selvig, don't they? Well, I guess only Loki picks up Selvig to give him a job.
well, obviously,
But I mean
Coulson
before
found
that.
Thor, and or at least the hammer, in the first place.
But Selvig's there for the whole thing and has Thor
Yeah.
explain everything to him.
Yeah. And he was there for a while before he got mind controlled.
Yeah, no. No one should be surprised by Thor. Maybe Tony.
I never ever thought of
but
that.
yeah,
Well done. I don't know if I'm creeped out or I'm not creeped out.
You should-
he's a real settling presence.
He is, yeah. That's a good one.
Most of these people just want to go back to their family. Government contract, man.
Do you ever sometimes look at Nick Fury, think about the fact he's got a real weird eye underneath that eye patch? It's a
gross
real
eye.
weird eye.
Real gross eye.
Now we know what it looks like. That's
Yeah.
all I can see. Mm-hmm. Once you've seen it.
Yup. He might as well not even be wearing the eye patch at this point.
We're completely
He
transparent.
burns his eye patch at the end of Winter Soldier, right?
He's busy rocking them.
Does he just do
sunglasses.
this? Oh, it's sunglasses.
Yeah, well, and then he
Too
puts
busy-
it on again later.
Too busy wearing Ray-Bans.
He should totally do the Guts from Berserk
It's-
thing where he just keeps it closed all the time.
It's a
That's
symbolic
hardcore.
thing. I've got a whole paragraph in the Rewind about what I think's going on there thematically.
Where he burns the eye patch? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he's getting rid of who he was. He's gonna be a new thing.
And it's about his outlook and how he sees things. And, yeah,
He's looking at it with two eyes now instead of one.
precisely. Yeah, and then he puts it on again later because that's what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to come back and have something different, or maybe just have it scarred over or something. But
No, just
or not scarred over, but just let us see it. And then that's a visual effect every time he's on screen.
Nah, just two regular eyes. Just come back with nothing wrong.
I'm not
Switch up.
the world's biggest fan of Scarlett Johansson. I don't think she's a great actress. I think she's got a real serious voice that she does when she's doing serious roles, and it's the same always. She's amazing in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying she's a bad actress either, but I think she's a little bland.
I don't love the Prestige.
I think my I forgot. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
Who's the
she's
better-
great in the
Who's the better magician, Wolverine or Batman?
Yeah.
And
Spoilers,
Alfred's
it's
there.
Batman.
It's definitely
I
Batman.
don't know how I feel about things in that third act, but I like it. I've only seen it once. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Wolverine cheats and actually uses magic.
But she has
Science.
actually.
Given by David Bowie.
But she actually has multiple amazing scenes in Winter Soldier. I mean, I think she's really figured this character out.
I have trouble with her in Winter Soldier because I can't get over her hair, which we've talked about. You don't agree with
It's
me
the
with.
worst. Oh man,
it's
her hair's the
so
worst
bad.
in that movie. It's and I
Okay, well, look past it.
I'm missing performances because I'm distracted by how bad her hair is in that movie.
even now.
Okay. I actually have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh,
it's the
she looks
middle
awful
part.
in that movie.
It's the middle part.
It's
She
so-
looks like a doll.
It's so straight, and it's just
Okay.
it's not it's unnatural. It doesn't
No,
look
I
good
don't
on her.
think I'm kind of done with talking about her hair after this, but it doesn't get better than Civil War.
What's her hair look like in Civil War?
It looks perfect.
Okay.
I remember thinking that.
Okay.
Oh man, that's exactly what Black Widow should look like.
We have had quite a few
She
discussions
doesn't get
about
a
hair
whole lot
on
to
these
do in that
before.
movie.
No, not a
um,
whole lot. But I remember thinking her hair looked amazing. Aw, those are the exact same things that I fought against.
It's also the things that were used by the Nazis.
Great vocabulary.
It also
Yeah.
makes this movie way harder to show overseas. And I think gives it a whatever their equivalent is where they have like a 16. Because England has a 12, 16, and then an 18. I think that line bumps it to its 16.
Because there are words and phrases that are more vulgar.
It is the British
Yeah.
equivalent to saying the C word.
Really?
Yeah. Oh no, that's
yeah.
a real vulgar
Oh yeah,
word in English.
C word's totally fine over there, if not
Yeah.
flagrant.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it then.
No, that's fair. But it's,
I almost did because I thought it was an innocuous word.
No, it is not an innocuous word.
No.
It is a very specific word choice by Lee.
I didn't know that.
It's just old timey.
Wow, that's cool. Maybe that's one of those movies where, or one of those things where, like, in Europe, their equivalent to PG-13 gives you one of those, and you know, what you call that, a Q bomb?
Do you think there's a lot of stuff in this room? Do you think there's a bunch of takes of Sam Jackson knocking into things because he has no depth perception?
Oh no! Just cursing up a storm. So mad.
I'm so tired of this mother effing eye patch and this mother effing helicarrier set.
He's tripping over that
So
that
I
staff.
think, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but once they start freaking out on each other, and we do the overhead shot, and you can tell that they're being affected by the staff, I think that is the most Joss Whedon moment of this entire movie.
And it's also
and the way they write that. That's
the
there's
overlay.
so much of that in Buffy, and anytime we do mind control stuff, he's always really, really careful to make sure that it's revealing things about characters, or that at least comes from a character place, that it's not generic, and that they're not that it's not just like someone else's in their head, or it feels like they've turned into something generic.
it's also a case of trusting your audience with visual storytelling that a lot of people didn't get.
Absolutely.
And that really bothered me, that a bunch of people thought the Avengers were just yelling at each other for no reason.
Yeah, there's, at the very least, even if you're not catching that it's coming from the staff, it's clear that something is wrong.
Oh look, we did a Dutch angle there for a second.
Yeah. But I like that it's handheld. It keeps going, and then it starts to tilt the other way.
Well, I was confused because it wasn't a location shot.
He's
Oh, yeah,
referring
we're
to
going real.
all the Dutch angles in Thor, and we'd never noticed it before. There's all these establishing shots that are shot at an angle where I don't feel like they're trying to be unsettling or unnerving. I don't know what the point of them is. It's real weird.
Where's Thor set? Is it Oklahoma? Where is that?
It's in Nevada, I think.
Yeah, it's like, come see scenic Nevada, but it's a Dutch angle for some reason.
They might be accidentally saying something really negative about
This shot's
Nevada.
from Star Wars.
Don't go there. Oh, it is! You're right!
That's Return of the Jedi. And that might be intentional because
Still more subtle than all the Star Wars stuff.
I hate it. It's so dumb. It's not cool, and they know it's not cool because he never does it again. It's not a cool way to do like a collapsible bow.
You know, I would make the argument that the symbolism of that shot upside down is maybe even a little too obvious. Like,
and yet I still knew people that didn't get it.
Mm-mm.
it's upside down. It's wrong. Everyone's acting backwards. Not backwards, but...
Why doesn't... Okay, so Tony has a real obvious place to go with this that he doesn't have, which is that Tony's a self-made man?
Yeah.
Like, sure, he's in the suit of armor. He built it.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers didn't make the super soldier serum.
Yeah, I mean...
I would bring that up in this situation.
You're both relying on technology.
He kind of did make it, though. He's the only one who did it, and it's because of fundamentally who he is as a person.
That's right.
It's not anything that
But
could
he didn't
be...
create the science to make
You're right,
it.
100%.
I'm not
Even
saying,
still,
I'm not saying that either of them's right in that
And
argument,
Captain
but I'm
America's
saying
also-
I would have brought it up.
Steve Rogers
Making
would
the
have
point
died.
that what makes me worthwhile is not my equivalent of your suit of armor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's claiming that Tony doesn't have the morality or the character to back up his ingenuity and his ability. And I think that line kind of fixes the whole thing you're talking about just a little bit. But you're right. I mean, maybe Tony shouldn't mention the self-made man thing.
I don't know why he doesn't bring it up.
This is real important. And I still really, really wish that it hadn't been cut out of Incredible Hulk. Because it's the one thing they kept that matters from that movie. I don't know if you know about that, the deleted scene in Incredible Hulk.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
Otherwise, he is a totally brand new character that's introduced in this film.
Well, I mean, they
More or less.
can't not take away the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is at the end of that movie. regardless of whatever discrepancies.
Oh no, I'm not saying they totally retconned it. I'm just saying that like he is explaining a scene that is really important that was in that movie, and they cut it. Where he tries to kill himself.
He also mentions Harlem.
Spits it back out. Yeah, sure.
Which Luke Cage doesn't remember, but this movie does.
It's so weird that Luke Cage doesn't remember that. It takes place in Harlem, and the Hulk destroyed it.
I mean, not to say... I don't know. They just don't explicitly mention the Hulk and Luke Cage.
But she has a whole tirade. Black Mariah's whole political stance is superheroes are getting out of control. Look at Luke Cage.
Right.
3 years ago, your whole town was destroyed by a big green monster and a big brown monster.
Know, man.
And in Daredevil, what has made Hell's Kitchen a dangerous and slummy place again is the incident. And they mention the incident everywhere in Luke Cage. Mm-hmm. How does Harlem not come up? These things have been a problem since before the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's just that we're in specifically that place, and it's really strange that they don't bring that up. Now, having said that, if it weren't for the line where he says, "I destroyed Harlem" in this movie, I would not have remembered that is specifically where that took place. It is kind of throwaway, but...
So, I've got a question. This movie is going into production, and negotiations break down with Edward Norton. Yes?
I don't remember.
Because I
was going to ask you about that.
I thought they were sick of him after Incredible Hulk.
Oh, no, he's in negotiations for this movie and doesn't come in.
Oh, no, man, I never knew that. I figured they were done with him after that.
No, it wasn't. Is he notoriously difficult?
From what I've heard, he is insufferable.
And there's a whole thing about American History X where he locked himself in a room to edit the movie.
Oh, himself. Yeah, you told me that. I forgot about that.
And he wanted a different kind of Incredible Hulk. But no, he was still contractually obligated to come back.
I don't know if you've seen this movie.
And was in negotiations, and I guess they weren't going to pay him enough, which was an issue around this time. Sam Jackson talked about possibly not coming back. He's like, maybe I'm not going to be Nick Fury. But...
were they upset about Downey?
I don't think so. I think he was pretty chill.
No, but I'm just saying, was the difference between how much Downey's making versus everybody else?
Because Downey makes all of his money on this movie on the back end. Downey makes more money than any other actor the year this comes out because he had a thing in his contract that he gets royalties. Or
well, I know he has that too, but I thought he got like $20 million or more up front.
I don't think he gets significantly more.
Nobody else gets any more than that. Oh, really?
I don't think so.
I'll have to look that up. I thought for sure I had
read
that.
That face. Ugh.
But I want to know if
you totally just did the Hulk hands thing.
Yeah.
You're a Hulk hands.
Yep.
But I want to know if...
That sounds painful.
This was scripted with Edward Norton in mind. Because we always talk about how he feels like a completely different character. I want to know if Joss Whedon scripted this with Edward Norton in mind.
Because it could just be an interpretation from Ruffalo.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating if that's all it was.
Yeah, you shouldn't have wasted his time with that, to be fair, though. You guys are like master cartographers.
Controls, those are kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like a big ship wheel, but instead it's like all finger
It's
control.
digital maneuver, yeah.
Yeah. Future is now.
Yeah, that's how we articulate things now. This is why we're on camera for Marvel Mania.
I can fly, can you fly? You can't fly, I'm better than you.
I believe I can fly.
Oh, that played at work today.
Did it really?
I'm so excited. On Led Zeppelin radio on Pandora. I don't understand. It's gonna break stuff. So, the Hulk thing here is a thing that I've heard people complain about, and I don't actually think is clear in the film unless you listen to the commentary. That the way Joss Whedon interprets the Hulk is that there are two Hulks. It froze.
We're back.
I don't think we actually lost any time there.
The Hulk at the end, the I'm always angry Hulk, is him more in control, and it's him letting it happen. Whereas this is a forced transformation, and so that's why he's so out of control as opposed to earlier, or as opposed to later where he can direct it. That
could be made a lot more explicit, and I feel like that's a thing that Banner might understand and could talk about.
It might also help if it was visually distinguished a little bit. If he was darker,
and the
green,
I'm
or
always
lighter
angry
green, something
explanation actually might make a little more sense if we discussed all of that.
It does if you listen to Joss Whedon explain it.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense if you listen to Joss Whedon explain it.
But man, this juggling act, it's hard to get a thing like that in there.
Yeah. When would he ever explain it?
Yeah. I'm sorry, was it?
No, sorry. What is he called when it's Hulk's body, Banner's mind?
Oh, that's the merged Hulk, or later retconned as the Professor.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to call him the Doctor, but I didn't.
I didn't even know about that, so I'm glad. I almost said I'm glad you're here.
Halfway through,
of course you're here.
Peter David's run, he merges the gray, green, and Bruce Banner's Hulk.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good Hulk versions of him. There's Joe Fixit?
Joe Fixit,
I know about.
We talked about Claw one time.
That's way later. That's
you don't
the dumbest thing that's ever been.
It's really sad, Hulk.
It's just Hulk name's backward. That's what's dumb about it. It's the idea. And that Fraction had just done that.
And then there's Maestro, obviously, who's amazing.
Well, but Maestro is merged Hulk in the future where he's gone evil.
Okay, so
he's not a separate version.
Oh, he's the Professor, but later in his timeline.
I really don't like him being called the Professor.
Word.
He is merged when he becomes merged Hulk. The idea is he has distinctly splintered into 3 different personalities, and this is him being made into a whole person.
That's such a good hit.
And then the second Peter David leaves, the next writer goes, he's called the Professor. He's just another alternate personality for the Hulk, and we just move forward from there because we want Angry Hulk back.
I gotta mention that there's a lot of. Elevator's not worthy. I gotta mention that there's a lot of stuff. We talked about some scenes in Incredible Hulk where he still doesn't look exactly like he's there, but it's a big improvement from Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
We have nearly perfected it by now.
Yeah.
Ow. Right on the step.
You know this movie better than I do.
He just reacts to pain on screen.
Yes,
real empathetic.
But you can tell he was setting up to react. He was like, I know this is, here it comes! Here it comes!
I fall asleep to this movie, man. Like, I very much know it. I love it. Oh, man, I love this movie.
And you know, none of this slow motion is bothering me, and I feel like it should.
No.
Is some of it just that we're bragging that Hulk looks as good as he does, that even when you slow it down, it looks like it's there?
Well, it's nice when 60% of your movie is in slow motion, so it feels like you're watching a movie where everyone's underwater, which is what BVS is.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, I'm not sure that there's any actual like story or thematic reason.
No, it's just that it looks cool.
To slow it down there, it just looks cool.
Or
but that often irritates me that it doesn't in that scene. Like the main reason that you slow down footage and it feels like you need to is when those characters are moving so fast. You would need to slow it down, which is kind of the justification for it in the opening scene of Watchmen. But then we do it a lot more in that movie.
Well,
here it's like, well, it's the Hulk. He's not moving real fast.
It's a splash page.
That's true, and that's what it is a lot, and that's a justification in a lot of other Watchmen scenes also. Yeah.
Well, but that's the.
But maybe that's why I'm not reacting to it, because it does feel
a moment of true horror.
Comic book thing.
Moment of true horror. Okay, good. I'm not getting away.
And then it explodes, and then you're just wow.
No,
that's almost worse than the propeller thing in Captain America, because you're not gonna feel that.
No, man. If he didn't escape those clenches, that's it.
Those are things I never noticed because I'm always when I watch things like this in kind of story mode. And I don't think I had ever really noticed the terror that man must be going through.
Man,
in that moment.
Horror.
Wow.
He just watched that guy jump to him, and his only route of escape has been impeded in a situation that should not have happened.
Okay, when that guy fell out right there, would that have been a place where the Wilhelm scream would have been justified?
Oh.
No.
Should we not have done it there?
Because
I'm trying to figure out your standards for
I'm starting to have a possible moral issue with Captain America here, because he's killing people, and they're all mind controlled.
Yeah.
These are not bad guys.
Yep.
And Captain America's killing them. I don't know.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think he knows.
He doesn't. Mind control isn't a thing quite yet. Whoa, wait. They should know it, and they would know it if S.H.I.E.L.D. was more forthcoming with their information. But
so it's Shield's fault, like everything else is supposed to be.
They might know because they have to know about Hawkeye.
They know about Hawkeye.
They know about Selvig.
Yeah, they know everything about those two characters, so they know that they're being swayed or altered in some way to be working for the opposing. But
they're not telling our heroes.
They're not
about
telling
those
anybody
things.
about that. Why would they? It's none of their business. We handle ours. That's what Shield's all about.
And also, of course, what Shield has been about this all the way through. We don't trust these people enough to give them all the information.
This is the trial right now. This is where we decide whether or not we can trust
anybody.
you.
This is the.
But even when we decide we trust you, we don't trust you that much.
Yeah, you have
That's
a
what Winter
preliminary
Soldier is all
round of
about.
trust.
Yep.
This is about what it feels like.
But we keep a healthy paranoia.
Yeah.
The Iron Man bit. That's about what it feels like to play the game for the first Iron Man movie.
Is that fun, huh?
It's that fun.
Sounds like Superman 64.
It made me never play a second one, but I want to play a second
What's
one.
Iron Man doing? He's
my
flying through
faction.
rings.
To be fair, man, you could have electrocuted him first. You could have thrown the hammer at him. You could have. Ah, man, there were tons of things you could have done there instead.
I think
Not
they're
weigh
kind
your
of
options.
saying that Thor is impulsive and maybe even a little dense at times. I think that's kind of the point.
He
of
does
that.
not know the day that she just had. He's not prepared to fight her here.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
I mean, he's also mind control. He's not thinking about anything, but
He's got to be sloppy right now. I mean, relinquishing his control for somebody else.
yeah, he probably doesn't have like military precision. Well, I mean, he's got a knife. That's weird.
It depends on how much of his knowledge is being represented, I guess. How much
Keep
of it
hitting it. You cracked it. If you hit it a couple more times, it will break.
Yeah.
One solid hit right now. And it only takes one solid hit and then he's out.
Keep hitting it.
Yeah,
Stop letting
That's
him
what.
talk.
Last time I watched this, that's what I had. There's nothing stopping you from hitting it.
So cool.
And then, as Coulson's stomping him in his tracks, that's when you really go to town on it.
Move away,
Yeah,
please.
you don't hit a thing one time and go, and it cracks that much, you go, well, I guess I have no chance now. They really should have put that out as a Nerf gun. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Why does Thor care about him?
Well, it's just Loki's killing someone.
Well,
Sure.
and they have a little bit of a history.
Yeah, it's true that he's in Thor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but all
not
he did was make me into his
He
girlfriend.
interrogates
Yeah, all
him
he is
before-
is-
Yeah, but they're more okay with each other by the end of that movie. And remember, he's got the whole son of Cole thing. Like,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
they do talk at the end of the movie. You're right.
no, there's a little bit of affection for that character by the end of that film.
That should be.
But it's an easy thing to forget, and
Yeah.
that's. I mean, we can criticize it for that certainly.
That should be what they made the Tower of Terror. It should have been that. Not Guardians. I don't understand why Guardians would be Tower of Terror. That's what you do for Tower of Terror.
I've always wanted to make a little music video of that bit, and then as it's falling through the air with the music at the end of Willy Wonka. Because it's... I want to do the Wonka Vader thing with the... If you want to view paradise... Ah!
Do either of you know Jeremy Renner before this?
No.
Because I don't know him.
Oh, I'm still confused to this day as to how he got to be Hawkeye. I'm very confused.
Well, he was
about
on
it.
he was on an episode of Angel.
Was he an angel? I can't remember.
He is the character.
I will know this right away, I'm sure.
He is the character who shows up in first season.
Simply look around and view it.
Who feels like he should be a reoccurring character, but he's only one episode. He is the vampire that Angel made.
Oh,
He's
that's...
that like young vampire.
I just watched that a couple months ago. That is who that is.
That's Renner. Yeah.
Wow.
So cordial.
He's real young there.
He's so thematic.
So some people complain, of course, that this isn't weighty enough just for this film, that you kind of have to be in the camp of, oh, Coulson's really cool, and that, like, that's kind of why we did this. And, of course, it is, because it was mandated by the studio. But I think, if nothing else, his performance in that scene justifies it.
Yeah.
I love You Lack Conviction. That is exactly his... And what Tony will figure out.
We're back to the Iron Man 1 video game.
Yeah, he's been doing this entire time.
Yep.
I
He's
have a whole
also
bit
having a
about
bad
this.
day. No one should go up against him after this because he's had a real bad
Give it
day.
another hour or so.
I have a whole bit about this that I don't recall, but I guarantee you was in the first commentary. I have something about this scene that I don't know what it is. I used to have something about this scene, I guess.
Oh, and now you're just like, I don't know what I was complaining about. What was it? Or was it a complaining?
I have no idea. I just know that very specifically this scene I have something to say about and I don't know what it is.
Eric, it is okay if we don't completely recreate the other commentary we did.
I know.
It's all
But,
right.
No, I'm having like this thing. I'm like, I have something to say about this scene, but I don't know what it is.
I really like how all that shot. I think
Yeah.
it's pretty visceral. In the theater,
It looks messed up.
When this is big, it's it really feels like you're there and getting bounced around with him. I think that's really well handled.
That's a real slow closing door. I mean, I guess
Honestly,
he wanted to
Jeremy
be.
Renner is a very interesting human being, aside from like his acting
He'll
career.
say anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he is. He's got no filter, and I really respect him for
Yeah.
that.
I do
Oh
too.
no, I'm talking about his work. Like he worked as a
Did I lose it?
scenic
Yeah,
designer.
sorry about that.
He worked as a scenic designer for a long time. He actually was a makeup artist for the
Oh,
longest time.
really?
Yeah, he knows a wide variety of skills.
Oh, he's gonna direct at some point.
I was gonna say it makes you think he'll direct something.
Chris Evans did, or he's going to.
Didn't he direct that weird trumpet movie where he's like a street performer?
Was that the movie he directed?
I thought. I mean, I'm not sure.
Because he was talking about directing a movie and how like he thinks that's where his profession might be
He's
going.
trying to convince some dame to fall in love with
Everyone that's in these movies has this whole thing about
him. Some Goyle.
everyone that's in these movies at some point does the song and dance of like
I want more synonyms.
I think I'm done with doing Marvel,
Yeah.
and that's all gone away.
And
Where we are now,
this
no
was-
one's talking about leaving.
And
Chris
this
Evans was being
after
forced, though,
only-
wasn't he? Chris
a
Evans was
couple of
being
movies.
forced, though, wasn't he? For
To
a while.
what?
Yeah. He's made, like, some unruly comment somewhere about either Scarlet...
No,
Or-
and that was him and Jeremy Renner, and that was a completely fine comment, and that was nuts. But
Yeah, they
no,
blew that out of proportion.
no, he just
He had to rub that guy's blood on
Yep.
that. So,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yep.
he
He is not lacking conviction.
No problem with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, before you wheel that body off, give me like 2 seconds with it. And just,
also why
right.
does Coulson keep his collection here?
it's in his locker. He
Well,
always keeps it here.
they say because he was going to try to get Captain America to sign
Oh, that's
for it.
right.
Yeah.
So he brought him to work.
This
It's
is
not
all-
like he carries it around all the time. He put it in his locker so that he didn't get a chance to talk to Steve about it.
They just got on the helicarrier maybe like 4 hours ago. This is all within the span of one afternoon.
It's true.
The invasion of New York is the same day.
Because somebody asked him, I think it might be Maria Hill, has he had asked you to sign the cards yet?
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, the cards? What are we talking about? Trading cards. Playing cards. Yeah.
But no.
Because they had CCGs in the 1940s.
Chris Evans talked about leaving. I guess when he was directing that film, where he's like, "Yeah, I think this might be the way my career's going. I think I might act less."
Yes, right.
And then
And this was before Ultron. I mean, this was a while back.
and
Yeah.
then when by the time you get to Civil War, he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep doing these movies." Iron Man 3 was the last film in Downey's contract, and then he only signed on for 3 more movies, and that's kind of gone away because Civil War and Spider-Man were not part of that 3-movie contract.
No, not at all.
Everyone just seems, and he's talking about that he wants to do Iron Man 4, like...
It's such a well-oiled machine at this point that I think they're starting to look at it kind of the way I am, where this is a TV show that you get a couple of episodes a year for, and some of it might just be these have become such complex characters. Where we're in really interesting ways developing these characters and progressing them, that the people playing them have to wonder where we're going to go next, and you get to the kind of, I don't want to say cliffhanger, but for a character arc certainly, place at say the end of Civil War, where you can't be Chris Evans and not want to come back and see what happens to your character after he throws the shield down.
Right, like why would you relinquish the reins of that? Why would you want to... Because, I mean, they're not going to not use that character just because you're not coming back. It's unfortunate, but eventually they will have to pick Cap back up again.
I mean, sure, it's a real or write them out in some way. I mean,
Right.
I mean, these are really physically demanding movies. So I'm not saying that there's not a lot of other things to consider. You would just be, well, I'm so curious, I must keep coming back. I don't mean to be naive about it.
Sure.
Well, that's got to be part of it.
It has to be. I don't know.
You got to get really invested playing these characters.
You know, I feel like, thinking of this as like a TV show that you get a couple episodes for a year, TV is programming people for that.
It is.
Because, like, Game of Thrones is a huge multi-character cast where, like, you get a little bit with each character every episode, and then, like, sometimes it all comes together. Like, a lot of TV shows are ensemble cast films now, or shows now where...
With real slow burns.
And the characters won't connect for 6-7 episodes.
And you just gotta trust it that we'll pay things off and
I like how this
not
looks.
lose threads.
This looks really comic booky. Like, I've read comic books colored like this.
You're right. I also like that it goes away.
And we're out of it.
Well, yeah, because it's his emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
Hit him again.
Okay, that's all real Whedon dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Take your brain and play. Like, that sounds like a thing you get in Firefly. It sounds like a river.
That happened to Summer Glau.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a river line.
And I'm back.
He's channeling the Tam.
I want more with them. I think that's one of the biggest things moving from this movie forward. We get some of it in Ultron. We get a little bit in Civil War.
Did you ever read
enough
The Secret Avengers? Like, I think it was like a one-shot for this, but it was a continuation of these characters where they actually show you what happened in Budapest.
No!
It's real messed up.
Is it good?
It was okay. It was just like...
Because I read some of the like Iron Man 2 prequel comics, and I was like, yeah, I'm never reading these again.
No, it wasn't anything that was like directly...
So it's not connected to the movies, they just do the Budapest thing?
Yeah, no, I don't remember it ever getting...
in Secret Avengers, which makes it...
Well, no, it was #1. It was like a #1 Secret Avengers and then : something. I don't remember exactly what the
subtitle was. But is it film continuity?
It was film continuity,
okay.
I don't remember any point if it was said adapted from Avengers.
Because the comics have been doing so much movie stuff intentionally trying to have consistent branding that it would not surprise me if they didn't say, well, let's show the Budapest thing in the comics as part of that continuity.
Although they've got a real different relationship with the comics, that'd be real tough to pull off.
Okay. And I don't know anything about that.
She's originally a villain, and she tricks Clint Barton into going up against Iron Man.
I know that. I know that much, but not.
Barton?
Yeah, Circus Clint Barton.
Yeah.
You know, they're
we
both
have to stop
Iron
doing
Man
circus,
characters.
The circus backstories. We can't do them anymore.
Well, that was back in the '60s.
Circus was a breeding grounds of weird people back then. That's not
true. There's a whole circus of crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that because did you hear that Barnum and Bailey just shut down like a month ago?
Really?
Yeah, like circuses are not a thing anymore. Like the biggest, most important circus is no longer a thing.
Did you know my dad's a clown?
Yeah, he told me about that.
My dad's totally a clown. He used to have a balancing beam in my house. It was really cool.
Is he currently a clown?
No, God no. He's like 46.
You can't be a clown at 46?
No, you can be, but he's not about that. He used to do it just locally for people and junk like that. He never got registered with Shriners or went to a college or anything of that nature. He just learned a whole bunch of clown skills and then taught me some of them because that'd be fun.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had done that kind of thing part-time or just learned some.
I know how to do. I know how to tumble. I know how to juggle. I haven't rode a unicycle in quite a while, but
oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, man.
Coulson's blood, because he put the blood. He rubbed it. He got the same blood.
I'm an opportunist, CJ. I'm gonna have a real hard time not trying to find some way to exploit that on the channel, buddy.
Man.
Can you do other things? Can you juggle and unicycle at the same time?
I don't know if I have the hand-eye coordination anymore. I barely can do the 3 that I can do for juggling.
But could you before? Was there a time when you could?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, because I don't like. There were times when I would like start juggling, and this is back when I was a younger man. My knees didn't suck, but I would crouch down, and then I would put one foot out and start juggling, and then go up with it, and then move the foot back until eventually I'm just juggling in front of me, and then I move it back forward again, and then I can just plant it back down and start juggling more.
So, back to this movie for a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric, you know that I complain all the time, especially in TV, about that moment where we're talking about something different, and then somebody lands on a word, and then that leads us to the answer.
It's the Jeff Goldblum thing.
Yeah. That bit right there, where he's talking about Loki wanting parades and a monument and all that. It's not exactly that, but that is a really good example of when that works, because he is subconsciously making a connection between himself and Loki, and realizing that Loki is he knows that he's going to Stark Tower because that's the thing they have in common.
Mm-hmm.
Because it resonates with him, it works. I really like that.
I'm a captain. I outrank you.
They're really cool, aren't they?
They've lost all their value.
Yeah. I don't know if
they
Cap
might have a
signs them.
different kind of value now.
I mean, the sentimental value is great, but the monetary value has completely left.
I don't know,
those
man.
cards.
If Cap still signs them, and especially if Cap's the one to sell them.
If Coulson becomes famous after his death,
which he shouldn't because he's an Asian.
Yeah, he's a spy.
but if he did,
sure. Man, I really got to get this armor to home.
this is a place where people ask this all the time, where I most find myself asking the question: how is S.H.I.E.L.D. a secret when they're branding everything, and their logo is on freaking everything? There's that. I meant to mention this in the beginning. There are those two banners at the beginning in that compound. One that says NASA and one that says S.H.I.E.L.D. And S.H.I.E.L.D. has a logo and NASA doesn't. One of these is a secret!
I mean, and Selvig knew what S.H.I.E.L.D. was before anybody even mentioned it in Thor.
Does he?
Yeah. When they show up to take Natalie Portman's work.
Because they did something to it to one of his friends. It's because he knows Banner. Which they don't ever interact.
He knows Banner!
Selvig knows Banner?
In Thor, he says...
Wait, he knows his work. He knows Banner's work.
Well, no, he says he
I don't remember this at all.
That's how he knows S.H.I.E.L.D. is that he says something about, like he had a colleague that dealt with gamma radiation that, S.H.I.E.L.D. ruined his life or something like that, or something.
I gotta go back and look at that scene again, because I didn't think it was gamma. Wow. I thought that whole scene was about... Because that's like a whole, like delivering his backstory scene. If that's actually Banner, that's... Boy, I've never heard anybody talk about that.
I think so.
Wow.
I'm misremembering. We watched Thor 4 days ago.
We did, but of course we talked over it like we are now. We've got to go back and look at that. Because if you're right... that's cool if you're right. I didn't know about that.
Okay, so the big ring and the armor and it taking it off is a continuous evolution of the technology and kind of the apex of the technology that we start with in the first film.
Mm-hmm.
The where it's real rough and takes a while to take the armor off in the room.
Yeah, you talked about it a lot when we watched that film.
Yeah, he's now kind of perfected
it's in the floor and it moves around a lot.
Yeah.
The tiles,
Yeah, and he's kind of perfected that here, and then we're going to introduce the next thread that we're going to do, which is the portable armor and the, which also starts in 2, I guess, with the suitcase armor, as the portable compact armor, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
his technology tracks across the films. It's really cool.
Thinking about all those things where this has to be, as we say a lot, an Iron Man film and a Captain America film, etc., etc. It almost feels like it would require different teams to keep track of all those things, or at least like a person to check all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that could have been directed by 4 different directors.
Well, and it also, I get the impression with this film that Whedon went back and really studied the first couple of films. All the films leading up to this. He picks up on things that other people miss and forget.
Because he's a storyteller.
Yeah.
And he knows that this is... I mean, he makes this, and rightly so, a...
Did you see Tony's face just then? He did not prepare for that.
Yeah.
He did not even kind of consider that to be something that would have happened. And there's no way he would have known that... I don't know. Okay.
I was just going to say that he thinks of this as much as its own story, also as a chapter of a greater whole.
Which is funny because he's not great at continuity.
But he tries real hard.
Yeah,
tries real
Whedon is
hard.
not great at continuity. Like, it's a real tragedy that...
I think in some ways he is, but he makes mistakes.
Yeah, it's a real tragedy that Serenity didn't get picked up, but if we got to season 6 of Serenity, there would be things that would not make sense and would contradict. So,
Firefly.
I have a theory on this. You're right. I have a theory on this armor.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, you are real lucky that you judged that correctly.
Yeah.
Well, it's repulsor, so it's force based. It would just push them down. It wouldn't burn them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, but it
repulsor's not heat
But
based.
it looks like really hot fire the way it's shooting into.
It does.
It looks like hot fire.
But it's not.
It does. Well,
It's
I mean,
not.
I wouldn't make it like that.
Could you make it look like that? Is that what you're saying?
No. I mean, I wouldn't make it like that if I was Tony Stark, because in the first movie, he's selling repulsor-based missiles, and that's what he puts on his feet. Maybe the back ones are rockets, but...
I'm just saying, I'm seeing what looks like rockets, and maybe even rocket fuel a little bit.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
This is just messing him up.
But, I have a theory on this armor that I'm sure is me reaching, but... Because it's a lot bulkier than any of the other armors we've seen. And I'm wondering if that's because it's a halfway point between the compact technology and the regular technology, that in that he has it all small and can come to him, it doesn't have as much room for all of the normal facilities of the Iron Man armor, so it has to be bigger. So it can have everything that a normal Iron Man armor has. And then he finally gets it right in 3, or I guess eventually Ultron. That's my theory.
That thing looks really awkward on purpose. And...
Yeah, I don't love this armor aesthetically. She's somebody, right?
Uh-huh.
Or she comes back into somebody, or she's in... Oh, she's in,
I'm trying to remember what it is.
It's, a Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, really?
Yes, she is
The
in...
Joss Whedon one?
Okay.
The Joss Whedon?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
he
they
meets
just
her
go
on
down
set for
and-
this, and
That's
she's
awesome.
in... Yeah, she's in Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah, and of course,
I didn't
she
watch
got
that.
a lot more to do.
No, the
in
Kenneth
this.
Branagh one. Like,
Yeah, of course, his Much Ado.
I'm joking.
It's after this. But yeah,
I say, Kenneth Branagh definitely made a Much Ado About Nothing. I'm trying to watch that.
he did. Kenneth Branagh made
He
Much Ado About
He
Nothing
did?
as a musical.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, it came out in the
I've never seen
90s.
it,
People hate it, but I've never seen it.
Oh wait, no, is that the one with Keanu Reeves as the bad guy?
I hope so.
Keanu Reeves is a bad guy in one of the in one of the like modern day
Much Ado About
Shakespeare movies, and it's a comedy, so I think it's Much Ado.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, I saw it in a
I'm sure
Shakespeare
it's
class.
terrible.
That is the movie. I think that's the movie, but he's definitely a villain in a Shakespeare thing,
man.
and that is my go-to example for why you can't cast Keanu Reeves in big, over-the-top, hammy.
Why would you
theatrical
cast him in a
things.
Shakespeare
It
thing
does
after
not
Bram Stoker's
make-
Dracula?
Oh boy, it does not make sense. But
You've
it's-
already seen what he does trying to do that.
But it's the greatest thing.
I just watched Scarlett.
Johansson?
Yeah. God, I just watched Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, which
Oh no! I just watched Robert Downey Jr. say the word drive-through, and I'm such a fat American that I thought he spelled it wrong because it wasn't THRU. It was drive-through. Like, oh man.
both are acceptable. It's like donut.
Okay, sure.
If you saw donut spelled dough, D-O-U-G-H, would you be like, that's not how you spell that word?
No, I would think that'd be fine. I used
Oh,
to.
okay, all right, because it's the same. It's kind of exactly the same thing.
Sure. No, that's valid. Or theater. Well, but, I mean, you use R-E in that instance, but never mind. But, okay, yeah. Pronunciations are fun.
The theater.
There's theater and theater.
Right. Theater. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, man. That monument still looks pretty good.
So we were talking about all the green screen stuff that looked pretty awful in first Avenger. There's a lot of green screen stuff here that looks just fine to me. And when you look at the special features and stuff, it's amazing how much of this they shot on a set, and that still looks, if not location, just as close as you could make it look.
You know, it's interesting.
Oh, there it is. I was just saying.
The
that right
Chitauri have never come back. Right? Like, they're not in Guardians.
Nope.
Like we've never used them again.
there. No, they're in the Collector. The Collector has one.
Oh, does he have a Chitauri?
The Collector has one Chitauri.
But he's saying that like they don't follow up at all.
Right.
Like,
They're
Yeah, like
never-
they're,
What are they doing?
they're
Where are
Thanos'
they?
army, but they're nowhere.
but Thanos
I guess
hasn't been using them. Yeah.
No, Thanos usually, what's the word? Outsources for those things. He gets people like.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing here.
Yeah.
there was a theory before this came
I mean,
out.
he's working with with Denisov, and Denisov, I would assume, grabbed these guys.
There was a theory before this came out about the Chitauri based on just like quick freeze frames from the trailer that they were going to be Beta Ray Bill's race, which doesn't actually make sense with Beta Ray Bill, but it's a movie, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that would have been great. Or I mean, I'm hoping we see them at some point.
Ronan is Kree, right? Like he's a member of the Kree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So yeah, so far all of Thanos' armed forces, or the people he has working for them, are people he's outsourced for. The Chitauri probably aren't even.
He's all about delegating.
Yeah, he's probably it's probably
And you
just
know
some warrior race that.
Can I throw out an argument for why Thanos is smart if he doesn't use them again? Because you
fail?
destroy their mothership and they all fall down.
That's true.
He might be thinking, how about we not pick a collective consciousness race that's a beehive and you take out the bee and they all fall down? How about no more London bridges after this?
How
Now-
many Chitauri were there? Also, on that note, did they send everything
16.
they
Is
had?
this all of them?
Yeah. Okay, that
because
makes
there
sense.
was a giant space station out in
Well, no. Well, because
coming up. I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah. When we go up into space, we see like millions.
Yeah, it's a lot of creatures from the same race.
It was
It's-
just one hive on like one province in on their planet.
And I mean, what's the point of sending more?
I
of
love
them?
this. This is the coolest thing that they invent, and I don't think the comics have used. That he has a thing on his bow that changes the arrowhead
It's like a receiver.
to whatever the special arrow he wants to use.
Oh,
The explanation in the comics,
I never noticed that.
yeah, it's really cool. The explanation in the comics has always been that he has essentially Braille. Like he has he
Yeah, 'cause he's
has.
deaf.
Well, yeah, but that came later.
Yeah.
The explanation in the comics for how he knows what arrow he's grabbing is there's like Braille on them that
Allows him to dictate.
yeah. It's like okay, two bubbles is an explosive arrow. 3 bubbles is
Freeze arrow.
yeah. I really like the
That's really smart.
the quiver bow connection.
Because I always wonder how Green Arrow does it.
There is an explanation. I have forgotten it.
Okay.
He has a separate explanation than the Braille thing. But I can't remember what.
I really like this moment a lot. Now, I don't love that they don't immediately know who he is.
Well,
To
does
be
anyone
fair,
know
it could
if
be
he's come out of the
anyone.
ice?
That's
It could be
that's a good
any
question.
guy just dressed up as Captain America trying to fight a whole bunch of aliens right now. And then it actually turns
Well,
out
okay,
to
but
be
then
Captain
their facial
America.
expression should be like, what is this guy doing cosplaying? Like they're not taking him seriously, but they're not like, this person is crazy.
Okay,
'Cause
yeah.
that's what, if they thought that,
We'll do that, sir. Get down from the car. Please follow me to this truck.
Okay, so you've now read the Ultimates.
yeah,
These are not the Chitauri.
nope.
They just randomly grabbed that name.
Now, I kind of forget what the Chitauri do exactly.
They're the Skrull. They're the Ultimate Skrulls. They're shapeshifters,
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
okay.
can turn into... They're infiltrators. And they're also horrifying dog people. But I was disappointed
They
a
just
little
made
bit.
him real generic.
I mean, not like super bummed, but...
Yeah,
Because...
they just made them an insect race. I mean, not that they look like they're insectoid, but you know what I mean.
But
They're used as insects.
if you can use Chitauri, then you don't need Skrulls. If they were allowed to use Chitauri, they could have had Skrulls in this universe and just called them Chitauri like Ultimate did. I don't know why they
so
would.
that's a big misstep because now you can't do a
Yeah, because we've got the
story.
Kree, and
you
the Kree and the
could.
Skrulls are always warring, but you don't
So you just
have.
be Kree and Chitauri, and at this point, because this movie was so successful, everybody knows what Chitauri are.
Mm-hmm. That's great. There's a whole speech cut with that old guy that we didn't get to see.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
Is it in deleted scenes and I don't know about it?
I don't know if it's actually in the lead scenes, but I know it's there because that actor is someone. And, like, you do not cast the actor for, like, a little bit part, and I think maybe we mentioned in the commentary, I don't remember. But we know that there is a speech that he gives to Bruce Banner. I don't like that
I don't
line.
like it either. I
Unless
complained
she's
about it in the
joking.
rewind. And even if she's joking, it's not...
It's
It's not a
Captain
joke
America
that makes
line.
any sense.
No,
Why would you
it's
send
Captain
a complete another fleet of
I'm with
Chitauri, or even use any Chitauri after this fight, if only 6 people can take down an entire armada?
Well, but they're the Avengers.
They're still just 6 humans.
Well,
Regardless
not
of whatever they're
just.
called, or
But they have
from
but
an
some of
outward
them
perspective.
have powers.
Okay, but if they did this 10 years earlier, they would have won.
Yeah, most certainly.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I wouldn't use them again against the Avengers, but now
Yeah,
we're doing space stuff.
The tough thing about it is that 2 of the 6 are S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and why don't we just have more S.H.I.E.L.D. agents there?
Sure.
Because
like
there have
top
to be
tier.
right, but there have to be at least a couple, 3, 4 more that have skills close to their level.
Which equivalent to gymnastics and shooting and archery.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, where's the
Very different
sharpshooter?
facets of things.
Where's
Where's the javelin thrower? Where's... Where are the other
Look, I don't
Olympic
have all the
participants?
answers, CJ. I don't.
Why does he have silver on his legs, Iron Man? Like,
And as soon as you
Why
said
is it there?
that, Captain America
Yeah,
blocks
he
his
stepped right
legs.
in front of
Looking at his legs.
and I don't get to see what you're talking about.
he's got silver on his legs. It doesn't make any sense with his color scheme. Like, why would you do that?
Oh yeah, you're right. That is weird. That's where guns come out.
They
Out of
would
his,
come out.
out of his.
Now it's just outlets
So,
for free energy.
there's a joke that I've seen.
This is where he's just like
It
free
used to
energy
be
for
guns,
everyone.
but
Free!
I can't do that anymore.
There's a
That's
joke.
where the power company is. General election is in my legs. Sorry.
There's a joke in more recent comics I've seen a couple of times now.
That looks so
about when superheroes carry each other, and like how much it sucks when only some of you are flyers because somebody always has to is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Tony just grabs him like this and carries him like a cat.
He's got a harness.
Like, why is everybody always doing this?
Yeah, he got a harness. He's only going
Well,
up like
it's-
one building. It's not like he's trying to carry him a long distance.
Yeah, it's true.
There's
like
a
an
great
elevator.
joke making fun of that in the in the direct-to-video Lego Batman movie that I did a rewind on recently, where Superman has to carry Batman by his cape. He's just flying, he's holding by his cape, and Batman the whole time just has his arms crossed and his head's down, and he's just really upset and sad about it.
The video game Lego Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's
2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a joke in something where they have a whole conversation. I
Yeah,
realize
but they adapted it to a movie. They took all the cutscenes and then added more cutscenes, or added things into it to make it a movie. And
I love that moment.
And I just did an analysis that to correlate with the Lego Batman movie.
This scene is what made me like him as Hawkeye, and I don't know why, but like he just has a flair to his personality in this scene where I'm like, oh, I like this guy. And I was right. Like when we get to Ultron, we get Civil War, I really
But
like
I never got
Ronald
the sense that
Hawkeye.
he was like. I got the sense that he had a sense of humor and that he was a little sarcastic. I didn't realize he was going to be as much fun as he is, and
He's
and
really
still have
laid
a
back.
lot. Yeah, and we add so much depth to his character as we're doing more of that. It doesn't make him a cartoon character.
Well, it's so funny because it's basically the opposite of who he is in the comics, but who cares? I like this character too.
I think it's so important that one of these people turns out to be a family man.
Yes.
And when that's a revelation, and just like that he's so much the opposite of Black Widow because of that, but there's part of her that would like to have that, and that's what Fury can never have, and then his like intentional lie about his wife and Winter Soldier and all that stuff.
And a lot of that comes from the Ultimates.
Dap.
What was I thinking with these little shot gauntlet things? I came way underprepared.
See, imagine if they had shape-shifting abilities.
She can only do that
And,
like 3 more times.
I mean, it would make this such a more complicated scene to shoot. It's already a really complicated scene to make. But imagine if they had shape-shifting abilities and there was a possibility that when he jumps over that, he is one of them.
Yeah.
Or when they're saving like a whole bunch of people and they turn around and a little girl
Yeah.
turns into a giant Chitauri.
Yeah.
That would...
And then you can do so much more with that later on. And
Secret Invasion.
you would not have had so much of the complaint that there they're really generic, faceless, nobody bad guys that are made that way so that we can kill them and not feel any remorse for them. That's a big complaint that people have with this movie.
I don't understand how this works. Because it seems like she's puppeting him, but that's weird.
Still alive.
Yeah, well, how is it that, like, moving his shoulders force him to move his joystick, or his, you know... everything's a joystick.
It's controlled by, like, I guess his sternum. Like, because his entire everything is encompassed here.
It's a lot of, weird...
This shot's amazing because it's a oneer.
Yeah.
And it can't possibly be a oneer. I'm not sure how they do it, and there's no cuts.
Well, there's some cheats. And it's not all photography either. You know, so much of this is a special effect in a computer, but it's made impressive because of how much of it is there. You know, if this was all in computer, like you know, if it was a oneer in a 3D animated movie, you wouldn't be impressed by it.
No.
But because Thor is there and it's not just his head on a CG body or something, we're buying it and it's cool. Now, I know people, including Vince, that do not like that moment.
Where he punches him?
Yeah.
It's a great moment.
Yeah, some people think it's too cutesy.
Well, as a renowned hater of cutesy,
yeah,
I disagree.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask you about it.
No, I love that
moment. When you laugh, I thought I kind of expected, I have expected you to shake your head.
I love that moment because he's still angry about earlier.
Yeah.
He remembers. He knows what Thor did to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice that this stuff is as character-driven as it is.
And he also
as
knows...
much as it possibly can be.
He also knows that Thor's going to be okay. He wouldn't have done that to Black Widow.
But these specific people will blow up.
Or Captain America.
0 casualties.
Why? Why do you want to blow up these specific people? I mean, is it everyone? Is it everyone and anyone you could possibly get into an enclosed structure and then try and blow them up? Or is it, what is it about this? And out.
What are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
Now?
Like, what was the end-all be-all goal of that?
There is some real logic I'd never thought of coming from this side of the room.
I just don't get it.
This whole commentary.
Oh, man. Shucks.
Man, really appreciate this fresh pair of eyes.
Oh, man, he's a total babe. Oh, man. And you
I would have loved to have served him a cheeseburger.
There's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there are like YouTube videos where it's like, and then the incident happened.
Yeah.
When Captain America's mask came off, we found that he's a total hottie.
Yeah. Now there's entire Vogue issues dedicated to just snapshotting him. Actually, that scene attributes to one of the reasons why I cried.
Now this is a thing.
We were afraid it could have been like that girl at the end of Roger Rabbit, where he's like, "My man!" But no, he was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now this is a thing I didn't like, and I'm still not in love with. And you said you kind of understood me a little bit more after reading Ultimates.
Yeah.
Nick Fury is guiltless in this movie because everything bad that S.H.I.E.L.D. does is attributed to the Floating Heads of Doom. He needs to be more of a... he needs to be more of a bad person. Because this movie basically...
needs to have made more of the mistakes.
This movie washes his hands because he doesn't actually want to...
And then we fix that with Winter Soldier.
Yes,
a lot of stuff really is his fault.
Yep.
There, and the floating heads are there in that movie. The Security Council.
But in this movie, we wash his... this movie washes his hands of all of the wrongdoings of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this film. I don't think this is cutesy either. I think this is really funny. I'm not laughing, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
And it's that moment that sells it.
The we is... Yeah.
The Puny God line's not great because...
I need more
I didn't know what he was saying like the first time. Where I'm like, I think he said Puny God. He said Puny something.
I need to hear more out of him. If he's gonna talk, let me talk. Let me hear him talk.
No, I agree completely.
I don't like. It's cool that he yells, and it's great that he has he can emote.
Well, and I'm not sure that I love that. This is a nitpick. I'm not sure that I love that Puny God is a callback for people that know that he tends to say puny human. I almost want him to have said
Hulk
that
smashes
once.
that too.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
you don't
I guess
like
he does say Hulk
smash
smash.
thing, yeah.
Well, I don't dislike it. It's just he holds too long. He goes Hulk smash, and I don't like that. Is a phrase. But yeah, I guess that one's a fair actual callback to Incredible Hulk. The puny thing is not.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think. That's cool. Someone built one of those.
It's exactly like Avengers Assemble at the end of Age of Ultron. If you don't know comics, you have no idea
Oh,
why
that made me so sad.
I don't like that.
That made me so sad. To just be right there on the precipice of actually hearing
I don't need them to ever say it, but I don't want like a cute halfway reference to it. Just but I don't think you should end your movie with it when 80% of your audience potentially might not even know what it is.
80% of your audience should learn to read.
But that's not a joke. You should learn. You should learn how to read.
I'm with you on that. I think 100% of your audience should learn to read, but it's a separate issue, really, Eric.
Gonna need.
I think it's too elitist, is my point.
That's fair. Not in England.
No, not in England. That's part of why I think
movie's called Avengers Assemble.
This movie should have been called Avengers Assemble everywhere. I love that title because I like the idea that, first of all, it is an origin film. It's a put the team together movie that could have been really, really boring and tedious, and everybody some people like me were a little bit worried that this was not going to be fun to see them all come together. It would be kind of tedious, like the Ultimate Avenger, like the first Ultimate Avengers movie. It has that problem a little bit. If you right up front call it Avengers Assemble, you're telling us that's the kind of movie it's going to be, and hopefully we can do some interesting things with it. But that's what we're doing. It's an origin movie, and I also really like that title just because of what it looked like on the posters. Did you ever see that? The European posters?
No, I didn't.
This movie in Europe was called Avengers Assemble instead of just the Avengers.
Because they have a popular television show called
TV
Avengers.
show, The Avengers, and they were afraid it would confuse people.
Sure.
So, and that makes sense. And I thought they might do something like that. The poster uses the same A for Avengers as Assemble, and it just looks really cool. And
Scott
then
Johansson does look like Miss Peel. I could see the confusion.
And I like the idea that we never say Avengers Assemble in this movie, and then if it was called that, when you get to Ultron, I much less mind that line. Because then we would know, because of the title of the first film, that made $1 billion and everybody saw, what comes after Avengers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, after that first ship gets shot down by Nick Fury, and they set out the decoy ship...
Uh-huh.
If the nuke had been on the first ship, which, for all intents and purposes, everyone should have believed and understood that the nuke was on the first ship, he was totally willing to sacrifice the helicarrier and everything and everyone on it, himself included. Is that what I've come to understand?
It might not be armed.
I guess so.
Otherwise, he has such precise aim that he can shoot a ship in the exact area with a rocket launcher that you won't also detonate the nuke that it's carrying, right?
I had another question, which was, why does Maria Hill get,
and we can blame him for that, but then nothing happens, so it's not like there are any consequences.
Why does Maria Hill get readings that a ship's taking off, but not readings that the other ship is taking off?
Like 2 ships, right?
Yeah. Boy, this movie's just full of plot holes that just destroy it.
I'm really sorry for giving you the worst viewing you've ever had.
What is he talking into? What is he talking into right now?
No.
What is he talking into?
I have seen that video.
Is it his hand?
In real life, we have technology that sits inside your ear, and you cannot see it because you're a spy, and you need things like that, and it's shield tech.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's probably what it is.
But all I can think of is his mask is down. I know he's not wearing anything.
Okay, no, they're all in communication with each other. All the time.
Oh, yeah, and they've been talking to each other a lot.
Yeah, Hawkeye's got
what makes that particular moment a little strange is that it almost looks like he's talking into his hand because of the way he's holding his hand up.
Fair, okay.
And I really want there to be a mouthpiece just right here. Okay, Tony, we got these guys down on 5th.
Just a little CB radio.
We got them.
If she picked up...
Can you hear me? Is there any feedback when I do that?
Oh, man.
Can you hear me now? Good!
In this moment, what would Tony say if she picked up? I'm assuming goodbye, but...
It would be more creative and clever than that, I would assume.
But it'd have to be real quick, because the second he goes through here, I'm assuming that the signal's not...
No, he gets signal for
the most heartfelt thing he'd ever said, but in
the space?
He gets a signal for a minute. It fades, halfway to the mothership. Like, it's still going, still going, still going, still going.
Can Tony Stark also make cell phones?
Yeah.
Just went out.
But yeah, but he's right about that.
About halfway to the mothership, it caves out. He's still picking up whatever satellite. Oh, hey,
but that makes
bro.
sense. I mean, he's out in space as a satellite. You're actually technically getting closer to where
everything, absolutely, the entire Chitauri Armada right there. So many different worm creatures.
That's probably just one ship.
All null and void.
And their planet probably has 150 billion Chitauri on it.
You can see there's ships around it. It was like silhouetted when it exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but I mean like one big mothership. Like, yeah, okay, it's an armada, but maybe they have like multiple armadas.
Real talk, those guys probably have a coalition of planets that they've just taken over and inhabited.
Yeah, yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah, well,
Real
I mean,
talk.
they can be, yeah, because that's what we mean. You say real talk. It's like my dog died. I want to talk about it.
Oh no, this is the realest of talks.
It's gonna get real serious and heavy. They're the Borg, and they took over like the whole Delta Quadrant before they got here.
Oh, the Borg are terrifying, though. I mean, to be completely fair.
Yeah, but we all know how much you love robots.
I don't.
If Captain America's dog dies, he doesn't drop that, right? Like, he keeps talking about it, like to the point where like you don't feel bad anymore. You're kind of annoyed.
Oh, he is at least dwelling for a month.
Yeah.
Cat and having a dog, most certainly.
You think he would go around talking to people about it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cap's not a things inside person.
He's still a very elderly man who dwells on things. I don't know if it's a period or whatever else, but yeah, no, he is.
That's true. Tony would keep it inside and be passive aggressive about it, or just be like really sarcastic.
And this is the moment in Walmart where I decided everyone needs to stop this HD thing, and I don't like new TVs.
Okay, but I want to know how and why the first time you saw this movie was in a Walmart.
No. It's very specifically because you've got all the TVs lined up in the Walmart, right?
Right.
And some of them are that super high definition where it looks like a soap opera kind of a thing, which someone has explained in the comments what that effect is. But
and now
they were playing this movie, and it's plastic. You see the helmet, and it's plastic. And I was like, nope, we can't go this real. We can't go this real. I don't want it to look like plastic.
Yeah, because the helmet is real and most of the rest of it is CG after the fact. It
looks real fake.
I don't know if it is here. I think it's different in different scenes potentially, but I know like the end of Iron Man 2.
Yeah, it's just the helmet and like
then the rest of it is mocap suit.
I think there might be shoulders. There's a little bit of costume. Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't have the whole... It's like General Zod, except...
But no, I don't mean the CGI and the helmet don't match. I mean, the helmet looked plastic.
Yeah.
It didn't look...
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I will never watch
I just felt
like
the need to mention that,
I love that
in case people didn't realize the helmet was real.
Mm.
Because the rest of it's not.
I'm sure it's unintentional, but...
that looks like a box art shot. I always thought you could have put that on the box.
It's true. The way Tony looks right there, he looks like Teen Tony. And it has to be unintentional, but it looks just like Teen Tony's armor, and Teen Tony's armor didn't have a helmet. That's the thing that nobody's.
Are you going to talk to your hand?
This is it. This is where it's
this
not.
Where you cry?
No. This is building up to it. It's this sequence of across the globe. Everyone and anyone saw what happened in New York and saw superheroes for the first time, and this is global. This is an entire world of people experiencing something for the very first time simultaneously, and all having very different perspectives and opinions and just 1,000 different ways to take it. And
man, I can see why you would have a reaction to that. I never did.
It's culminated in this.
And see, a lot of people don't like this because she had bits of scene that were cut.
Nah.
And so people felt like in the theaters, like, why are we talking to this person? I don't think we would have had to have ever even seen her and have that. Like, it's a person that was there. Like, Captain America saved a lot of people's lives right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I heard
and
that
we do see that happen.
line, I felt the appreciation and everything that I've ever felt about the triumph and overcoming of superheroes and just general awesomeness that is portrayed in one line, and I knew everyone else felt it as well, and that's what made me tear up. 100%.
That's a beautiful memory.
Oh man, it's one of my favorite memories.
I never had a reaction to that, but your memories could make me tear up.
Superheroes, man, they are important.
Yeah,
Very
and it
important.
is. And
I
it is
love how
real
he looks
hard
with
not-
sunglasses. He looks so cool.
It is real hard not to take some of that for granted now.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, can you believe it's been 5 years?
Oh jeez.
I mean, it's
no.
nuts.
Yeah,
and second of all, can you believe what we've accomplished in this universe in 5 years, not to mention superhero fiction in general in every kind of medium. Dark Knight changed the world no way, combined with Iron Man to some degree, and Avengers really solidified that.
And Rises not so much. I'm not being mean to Rises, regardless of whether you like Rises or
I
not.
was just not even...
Rises
gonna
isn't
bring
the
it up.
movie that it should be. It's just not the movie that it needs to be.
But regardless of whether you like that movie or not, because there are people
fine movie.
that are wrong in this world, but it didn't change the landscape moving forward like
No.
this did.
It added, but it didn't do anything.
And that's part of why a lot of people, and I hated it, but it's why a lot of people, like, the first thing that they said in their reviews was, well, it can't capture the magic of the first film for Ultron. In the reviews for Ultron said, like, it can't capture the magic of the first film.
Yeah.
Like, there's something
that's
special about
true.
this movie.
It can.
I like it better, but... And I hate that I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. Totally snuck up on me in the pan out.
It's not
Love
even
it.
the same design as the other letters. Like, none of the other letters
No.
are jotted down. Like, it clearly stands out.
It's the entire time.
Oh, Zach Penn credited for story. That's interesting.
Yeah.
He did the early drafts that weren't working.
I'm a writer. I wish my last name was Penn. Nobody gives this score any credit. I think it's really good.
Oh, but it's so good.
Or maybe they do, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But
Okay, since we didn't prep you, we do sit through all the credits. Just letting you know.
No, that's fair. I figured
And
we'd at
sometimes
least.
we make music sounds.
No, that's fine. I figured we'd at least.
That's how you
stick
know
around
if you're
till
still
Thanos.
sunk up with us, you know.
So
Oh yeah, you have to, because that's the part where I tear up.
We all got our moment. Why wouldn't you care?
I love that Thanos turns out to be behind all of this because Loki.
Apologies.
That's because Loki clearly is like, in a way, not as big of a deal as he's pretending like he is, and obviously that's kind of
He's the
point at
marionette.
the end of this.
He's
yeah, and he's pulling strings, but his strings are being pulled, and I kind of sort of called it. The staircase at the beginning in the theater, I'm immediately thinking Infinity Gauntlet. I'm like, we're out in space, we got this big structure, I really want Thanos to be at the top of that staircase, and then Thanos is at the top of that staircase. And when you go back and you watch it again, you realize that that's all set up beautifully at the beginning. But, I'll say it, should have been in the film. That is one of those.
So?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I don't think so.
That is. I mean, I'm saying that in retrospect because I really, really wasn't expecting it. So it was such a big deal when we got it. But well, and you know what? I'm gonna contradict myself because I keep thinking of it as totally end credit. It is mid credits.
It's mid credits.
It is after we see all the names and stuff, and so it is bookended because it's epilogue.
I wonder how different he'll look, because I'm used to him looking like Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
He looked fine in Guardians.
But he's Josh Brolin. He's a complete effect here.
Yeah.
In Guardians, he's not even cast here. That's why he doesn't talk.
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, he's just the face. He's
And
just that chin.
I haven't watched the scene in a while, so I'm...
Courting death. Courting death. It's coming. I mean, it's not as big of a deal now because we've seen him twice since then, but this is the memory I go back to. I want death to be capitalized.
Should be. It's a name.
In the subtitles.
I feel like he's a different shade of purple than he is in Guardians.
And one of the reasons I got so giddy is because he's Smiley Thanos. He's Starlin's fan. Like he's my Thanos.
I remember
Showing off them pearly.
before...
And 80% of the audience that needs to learn to read was like, okay.
What the hell?
Okay.
I heard people say it was Hellboy.
Oh,
I heard people say it was helpful
Wow.
in my theater.
That makes me
Wow.
sad.
I feel like there were one or two names that were thrown out where people were trying to... And, like, you've got no hope if you don't know comics, because he hasn't been adapted much, even a cartoon.
I have also not been to a viewing of a film that Thanos appears.
That's not a superhero squad. I don't know that he's really in any cartoons, is he?
Thanos?
Yeah.
Thanos is in...
He's in the current Avengers cartoon, and
he shows up
he's
in...
He was in Silver Surfer?
Was he in Silver Surfer?
He was definitely in Silver Surfer.
Okay, but that was 13 episodes and hardly anybody watched.
And I believe he's in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, but that's after this. I
I'm
guess
fairly positive he's in Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I meant stuff before this.
Yeah.
And in fact, his stuff in, the Infinity Gauntlet season of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, or excuse me, of Superhero Squad, that's also after this, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that 13 or 14? I forget.
This
Sorry,
song...
I didn't mean to cut you off.
This is completely separate, but I want to say what a song is.
Yeah.
Remember I told you there was a song for this movie that just played on the radio constantly?
Was this it?
It's this. This is just generic radio rock that has nothing to do with this movie, and it played constantly.
I feel like you were in the middle of a point that I interrupted you.
Something with Thanos?
Yeah, and talking about Thanos.
He's definitely in something else.
I interrupted somebody, I apologize.
No, you're good.
Hey, what is he in?
There's something...
He's definitely in something else aside from Silver Surfer.
In the lead up to this, I heard rumors that Thanos was the post-credit scene. And I heard so many things that were going to be in Marvel movies that weren't in them. I just assumed it wasn't true.
You weren't expecting it.
Yeah, so no, I was surprised.
Did you wonder where the staircase is?
No!
Oh,
I didn't think twice about it. There's a big staircase in space. That happens.
But the way they shoot it, they're making a big deal that there's something at the top of it.
I never thought about it.
And the thing is, it's been so long since we've looked at it. I mean, we cut back to Denisov's character one more time in the middle of the movie, but like it's been so long since we've been, he's talking to Loki, but it's been so long since we've been around that I forget all about it when we get to that part, and then we're climbing the staircase, and I'm like, oh boy, I know what's at the top of that. And I went and saw it with Tim Lyons, and he doesn't know comics, and he doesn't know who Thanos is, so I'm getting all giddy and I'm tearing up, and he's like, I do not know what I'm looking at.
That's the point you interrupted. I have never been to a screening of a film with Thanos in it where, after the movie, someone doesn't refer to him as Thanatos. Every time! Guardians,
so now they've heard of him, but they don't know what he is.
Thanatos.
They had an entire, consonant that's just not there.
Okay,
so
Thanos is derived from the Latin word Thanatos, which means death. There's a connection there, but... It's just people who don't actually know comics trying to sound like they know what they're talking about and getting it wrong.
Yeah, and that's the human villain in Gargoyles with an X on it.
It is. No, that's Xanatos.
That's what I'm saying, with an X on it, Xanatos.
Yeah.
They must have been looking at that word, and they put an X on it. I just thought of this.
Yeah.
They must have looked at Thanatos, took the TH off, then put an X on it.
Yeah, Xanatos, yeah.
Yeah. He's Riker.
Yes, he is.
And the
gargoyle generic song.
The gargoyle chick that he works with is Troy.
Do you like it? Do you like the song?
I do.
I don't dislike the song, but I get why you're saying it.
It is very bland. It's very.
I'd have to listen to the lyrics to see how it.
That's my problem
because I haven't.
It is a song where the chorus is the song, and there are 2 lyrics in between each chorus. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's very much just.
Yeah, it's fair.
A rock sort of thing they put together for a movie.
But I don't know if I can agree that it has nothing to do with the movie without looking at the lyrics, because...
I listened to it a lot at work.
Did you? Yeah, I bet.
I worked in a factory. Everyone had the radio on. I heard this song a lot. And I didn't hate the song to begin with. I was like, this has nothing to do with
The one
Avengers.
word that popped out while we were talking was together. So that's probably why it's there.
Well, it's something like the sun, we will rise, something.
Yeah.
God, the score's amazing.
Yeah, now I will say that the overall score I'm not super impressed with, but I really like the main theme. It's a good score. I don't think any of the rest of it is as memorable as the fanfare.
New Deal Studios. I want to say I know who runs that, but I can't remember. Sorry, I'm just looking at the credits and it says thanks to New Deal Studios. I feel like I know who New Deal Studios is, but I can't place it.
Also, I will say that all of the score in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is deriving really heavily from this.
Can I bring up 2 entirely aesthetic points that I didn't bring up in the
Well,
movie?
sure, we still got at least 250 names.
That's true. So, Joss Whedon agrees with me that Iron Man looks better with a circle than a triangle, and that's why he
I know you
very
had talks.
intentionally...
You had talks with me about it, and no.
That's why he very intentionally gets rid of the
Live to Rise.
triangle armor and then switches to the circle.
Oh, it's performed by Soundgarden.
Craig Kyle gets a special thanks? What did Craig Kyle do on this movie?
Who's Craig Kyle?
Craig Kyle is part of Kyle and Yost, who did they did X-Men Evolution, they did Wolverine the X-Men, they've written some comics together.
X-Men Evolution. So
He might have contributed something to the script,
and Kyle is,
but not enough to get
of the 2, Kyle is the one
running credit.
I don't like. I like Chris Yost well enough.
And then shawarma.
delicious.
The other aesthetic thing is, I hate that Hawkeye's thing is red and not purple. Why isn't it purple?
Why is this place open?
Because
they saved the day.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
come into your restaurant,
because Tony was like, I gotta get shawarma, and then they were closed, and he was like, no, we
Now, give me 2 seconds. Has all our Facebook information. Everything else is just
There's-
like, come in now.
There's no way they paid for any of that.
now has anyone?
Are you kidding? No.
There's no way they paid for
Hey,
that.
Tony wrote somebody a check. Their entire neighborhood just got destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no way that they're coming into work
If
today.
they don't let the Avengers pay, Tony pays for all of the repairs.
All of it.
Oh, well, I'm sure that happens. Absolutely, yeah.
Anybody eaten shawarma?
I've never done it.
once.
You haven't?
Yeah, it's really good.
What is it?
It's comparable to that of like a pita pit, but less closed. Or pita pit. It's comparable to that of like a pita, but it's less closed. It's a little more open. But it's really good.
Cool.
I can't remember the nationality offhand. I want to say it's like Turkish.
That was the
but I
big
think I'm
thing
wrong.
with was it the con? Was it the Comic-Con immediately after this movie? The following year, where the tickets for the con were sold at a shawarma restaurant that was nearby to where
Oh, that's
specifically the San Diego
I didn't know
Comic-Con.
about that. That's
I didn't
cool.
realize
Yeah,
that the
I
sound
forget
was
which
off
one
the
it
entire
was.
time.
What?
I just now realized that the sound was only coming through here.
Oh yes.
So that's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that's so it doesn't get on the
That's why we're wearing
Camera.
headphones
That
in the
makes
first
sense.
place. Yeah.
and there's no chance for copyright
Learn a
claims.
new
Right.
thing.
Yep. That helps a lot too.
Okay.
Have you seen the shirts that say shawarma but have the Avengers A in the middle of shawarma?
No.
I like those. Those are kind of cool. I think Lo might have one. We know somebody that's got one.
Okay.
But yeah, I think those are kind
That
of fun.
seems like a low thing.
Yeah, but I think they're kind of fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, CJ, thank you so much,
Dude, thank
for
you for
joining
having
us.
me. This
was
was
this
so much
not the fastest viewing of this movie
Yeah.
you've ever had?
That's true.
Like, I didn't feel that way halfway through, but boy, by the way, I was like, oh, we're already to the Chitauri. Wow. That was
fan of a day.
lickety split. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a really fun viewing, and I'm really glad that we had CJ. Please come back.
Yeah.
Please come
Okay,
back.
yeah,
You
definitely.
contributed so much.
Thank
we were
you.
really glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. It was a really fun time. I love watching the Avengers.
Everybody, this is
We should have him back for Ultron so he can explain why he doesn't like Ultron.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love James Spader.
Yeah, I know.
I love James Spader.
so
I
you
know
don't, so you in general don't like that movie.
He doesn't
I
like Ultron.
do not care for
Oh, just Ultron
at
is
all.
a character.
At all.
Interesting.
No,
Okay.
even a little bit.
I haven't written about that movie yet,
Oh, man.
and so I'm sure I will have a much more solid opinion about all that when
Ultron.
I finally do. But
Do it real
Bugs
fast.
the crap out. Yeah,
Well-
load up the second one. No.
well, that's not gonna happen because I'm still in the middle of the top 10 Spider-Man rewind. I'm gonna try to do something for
Wolverine.
Power Rangers, and I gotta do the Wolverine before that.
What
so
is,
yeah, I've
what
got
is
a lot-
next? What is next? Is
Iron
there
Man
a lot
3?
to do.
Iron Man 3?
Well, that's not next for us viewing. Next for us
Marvel.
viewing is Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man is next.
Okay.
yeah.
You hate that Peter Parker's a skateboard kid.
Oh, I hate a lot about... Okay, you know what? I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. He's about 70% where I need him. I hate his Peter Parker. I detest his Peter Parker.
Wow.
Because
Really?
he's so... And I get it, it's because of the time or whatever when we live. Like, nerds aren't really what they were back
Yeah.
in the 60s. They're just not. And they can never go back to that. But I still need adversity in your life that you don't just actively seek out yourself. Andrew Garfield, all the problems that he has in high school all come from him. They're all stemmed because he's just this rebellion badass kid that skateboards everywhere. It's like, I just don't care for that at all. I want him to be nerdy. I want to relate to him. I don't know. There are things about that movie that I just don't care for. I love Reese Ifan, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great Kirk Connors. That's a good casting. I wish I got to see...
His best scenes are cut.
Yeah, okay. I don't know anything about the stuff that got cut.
Well,
it's so funny. If you
see
go
the
watch-
family that he keeps mentioning.
Yeah, you get to meet his son. If you look at the lead scene,
Or does he
He
even
has
know?
a family.
No,
His
yeah,
son is always trying to get back.
Yeah,
to him.
yeah.
I totally forgot about this guy.
Yeah, well, and actually I said that he's always talking about, I don't know that he ever brings them up. When they go to his house, I'm like, do you live here alone?
Man.
and it's
Yeah.
great because the special effects aren't finished nano scenes, so it's always him with a green sock on his arm.
Yeah, respect.
Makes me want to take that scene, put it in my editor, and chroma it out. Everybody, thanks always for watching. We sure appreciate it. And as we alluded to, we will see you tomorrow for The Amazing Spider-Man. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan.
I was Eric.
I was and currently am still CJ.
And we will see you again, as I said, tomorrow. And lots more Marvel Mania coming your way, and lots of other videos here on Geekvolution. See you, folks.